Alright guys, welcome to Friday Night Magic at Four Horsemen Comics and Gaming. I am Ryan O'Loughlin, and tonight with me I have...
Kurt Nye.
And we've got two awesome players down in the feature match. We have Josh Ankeny on the left. He's playing Bant Eldrazi, facing Mr. Thomas Jones on the right. He's playing Hey Soul Sisters. Hey Yo Mr. Mister. So this isn't a common matchup.
I was gonna say I honestly don't know who this matchup favors because I don't think I've ever seen it before.
I haven't myself.
Right.
Looks like Thomas is on the play. He's going to fetch down to 19 and get a Ravnica Plains. I haven't myself.
What do you say?
That is the pre-release promo for Dragon's Base. Everybody got a Plains.
Sweet.
Yeah. And here's a sister.
Yep, there's a sister. So, like with like a Bant Eldrazi deck, I'm not quite sure because it's a little different than Eldrazi-tron. I would say Eldrazi-tron would probably be favored in this matchup for sure because they're only really playing like a couple of creatures.
Right.
They're huge, and then he can just like all his dust away the board.
Yeah.
But Bant Eldrazi does play quite a few more creatures. Like we just saw the Noble Hierarch come down, plays a lot of mana dorks, plays a lot of smaller Eldrazi like the Sky Spawners and things like that, which create even more Eldrazi Scion tokens, which triggers more Soul Sister.
Hold on. Did he record that he was at 19 from the fetch because he just went up to 23?
So he would have been at 1, 2.
Did he record that he was at 19?
Yeah, so he should be at 20.
He just went up to 23. Does the sister gain life when she enters?
I don't think so.
Okay. You want to run downstairs and just confirm that life?
Yeah, I'll run down there. I'll check.
We're just going to make sure that's correct. While we're doing that, Mr. Josh is stirring the pots, as it would be, and he's going to reveal an Eldrazi Displacer. Now, you might notice that there's a white mana symbol in the top right of that card, but because it has the Devoid mechanic, it is in fact colorless and is a legal choice off of Ancient Stirring. Looks like he's debating about what land he wants to play for his second land drop of this turn. And it looks like Kurt is down there and they are recounting to make sure if he should be at 22 or 23. Just wanted to make sure he didn't miss that fetch land. And since he is playing Soul Sisters, the life totals are usually pretty relevant. Since he is playing Soul Sisters, and it looks like Josh is going to play a Ghost Quarter for his second turn. So 23 is correct?
Yes, I can confirm what everybody has always known and what Ryan and I have always feared. We're done. Yes,
Why?
No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, I'm not arguing.
So he said he cast the other sister first, then the Sarah's attendant with Turbo.
I mean, I'm not arguing.
All right. Our math is just he said he cast the other sister.
Well, I brought it up before the Sarah's Ascendant came down. I was just confused.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We're fine.
All right.
So here's Ravnica Plains.
Promo.
Well, I brought it up before. Yep.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We're fine. All right. So going to attack for 3. Attack for 3. Well, I brought it up before. And this might be Mirran. That's Zeus. It's the promo version of Mirran Crusader.
And it's like literally Zeus, like it's supposed to look like Zeus.
I don't think it's.
It looks like.
I don't know. Well, obviously it's not Zeus, but I would imagine Zeus was the inspiration for it. It looks. I don't know. Well, obviously
and there's a
engineered explosives.
I would imagine
one, which is
pretty
good.
Puts a damper on the sisters, and he's just gonna blow it immediately.
Just a casual 3-for-1.
Yep.
Or actually,
pretty
he lost
good.
2 cards off that interaction. So.
Yeah, well. Plays another door.
Casual 3-for-1.
No real love lost there.
Mirran Crusader is definitely a card that needs answered, though.
Yeah, I mean,
I guess it does.
The protection from black doesn't really
Mirran Crusader
affect Josh all that much.
I guess
it does double strike.
I guess it does.
The protection a little troublesome, I would say, for sure.
So Thomas swings for 4, which will take Josh down to 13. And I guess a Thought-Knot Seer actually just stops this, well, or at least it would trade with it, because since his colors, it's able to block.
He put himself to 10. Did he lose life that way?
He didn't. I don't believe he recorded his life damage from the previous attack. Here's a Mikaeus the Lunarch for 2.
Pay X and he gets X +1/+1 counters? Or how does it work?
Let me pull up the text. Go ahead, yeah. I'm gonna pull the Twitch chat up here as well. Whoa, oh boy, that is not us. Go ahead, yeah. Switching over to our channel briefly here. Have the shields down for a moment. We're not sure what's going on while I pop out our chat. Switching over to our channel, or try to pop it out. Have the shields down for a moment. We're not sure what's going on while I pop out our chat. And we are back with our eyes on the game. It looks like in the meantime, Josh has cast a Thought-Knot Seer and is looking at Thomas's hand, which appears to have been a Path to Exile and a Ranger of Eos, and he chose to exile the Path.
Okay.
Which I like because this Thought-Knot Seer just basically stops the Mirran Crusader.
Yeah. Alright, so Mikaeus, he is 1 in X, and he enters with X +1/+1 counters as we saw. You can tap him to put a +1/+1 counter on him.
Right.
And you can tap him and remove a +1/+1 counter from Mikaeus to put a +1/+1 counter on each other creature you control.
Right. So Thomas is going to cast Ranger of Eos, which will let him search for 2 creatures with converted mana cost of 1.
Probably just 2 sisters.
2 sisters, yeah. It lets him find 2 sisters, and it's a 2-for-1 that helps him reload against attrition decks like Jund. So actually, he's going to grab a Kythian and a sister.
Is that the promo kit?
Yeah, it's the San Diego Comic Con. So actually, he's going to grab a Kythian.
He's taking it out because he can't read it. Kythian, interesting. This is an interesting. Soul Sister was
yeah, it's more human based. It doesn't play cards like Ajani's Pridemate or Squadron Hawk, which are very traditional Soul Sisters cards. It's more human based.
I'm gonna take a closer look at this Crusader art,
which are very traditional Soul Sisters cards. It's more human based.
I guess I see a little bit of Zeus in there.
Oh yeah,
he does have a little bit of a beard.
It's totally Zeus.
He's very shiny and he's got lightning in the background.
He's pissed at Percy for stealing his lightning.
Yeah.
It's totally
okay,
Zeus.
alright. I follow. I'm with you.
So there's Forest for Josh, and it looks like he's confirming the board. He has a Thought-Knot Seer and an Eldrazi Displacer in his hand. And he will get to cast that Thought-Knot Seer and steal one of those 2 cards that Thomas found. Which one would you take?
Between Kythian and the Soul Sister.
Yeah. Which one would you take?
Between. Did he just take it?
Yeah, he took.
I was leaning towards taking Kythian. One Soul Sister by itself
being the
isn't
last
gonna do a lot.
Especially when it's the last card in your hand. Yeah. And he could probably flip that Kythian on the turn after he casts it.
Right, which would be pretty problematic.
Mm-hmm. And he could probably. All right, so here's the sister, and his last card is 3 dudes. Seriously, Spectral Procession.
Wow.
Taking him up to 27 life.
All right.
Dudes, seriously.
Pretty decent draw from Mr. Jones there.
Yeah.
Take advantage of his sister right off the bat. Pretty decent draw from Mr. Jones. Those are some
Transformer cards, I think.
Biffy looking spirits.
Yeah, they're real nice. Transformer cards. All right, and he's just gonna pass it back because he can't really attack into these 4/4s.
Right.
They're real nice. Looks like Josh drew Path to Exile for the turn, which could kill the sister, the Mikaeus. You probably want to kill the Mikaeus, right?
Probably.
He
only gets 1 activation off of it because it has to tap.
Yeah.
So you probably want to get that taken care of before he starts tapping it and getting it out of control.
The Displacer can also blink it and remove the counters off of it.
It can, yeah. It's not a bad idea.
Can also blink it and remove. I mean, I'm not sure. I'm not an expert on the Bantel Eldrazi versus.
Either way, yeah. See, either way, he is just going to start pumping up all his creatures, and that's gonna be really problematic.
Do you want to like path here with the first activation on the stack?
You definitely don't want to let him get 2 activations out of it.
So you probably don't want to let him untap.
No, I wouldn't. Because then he's got 9 points of flying damage coming at him.
So you probably don't want to
that he can't block.
Yeah, that sounds real scary.
So, yeah.
Too bad Josh didn't have the path already in his hand when Thomas cast the
Spectral
Perception.
Because even still, I mean, having 3/3 flyers is bad. Having 3 2/2 flyers is still
it's a fast clock. Yeah, especially with the ground locked down as it is.
Right.
Although on Josh's next turn he can start blinking those tokens and killing them.
He can.
Yeah, especially with the
but he probably will take a pretty
Although
sizable
on Josh's next turn he can start
chunk
blinking.
here.
Zeus also now wins in combat with a single Thought-Knot Seer, though Josh has 2. Although on Josh's next turn he can start
no, it'll still die. Well, one Mirren Crusader.
Yeah,
will die.
it'll. Yeah, you're right.
So one.
So it's still a trade with.
Ranger Vios will trade with 1 2, which will.
Yeah,
So he's gonna trade those,
and then
which
Thomas
means
will draw
Thomas
2.
gonna have to draw 2 cards.
Yeah, which is I think he's okay with.
Yeah.
I think
I
he's
mean,
on the
if I'm
plan.
Thomas, I'm okay with that too, because now you probably draw 2 creatures, you gain a bunch of life.
Although this could be the part where he starts getting hurt because this deck has no filtering or draw other than Ranger Vios, and if you just like start drawing lands here, but that was a pretty good draw.
Yep. Does it?
And that
That does put him.
yeah, and that takes him up to 30. Yep. So that thing is a 6/6 flying lifelink.
It puts him at 31.
Yep.
That does.
And Ghost Quarter, which could be
Uh,
relevant.
I mean, it could have been relevant a few turns ago.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's really gonna do much.
I know, but
anymore.
the other 2 cards he had were powerful enough that it.
Right.
We're
Yeah.
fine, yeah.
Turning on Saracen and getting a
But
Martyr.
the other
of
2 cards. Actually, the Martyr isn't very good in Sands.
Martyr Sands. Got it. Yeah, that's not great in this situation, but it does help get him just a little bit higher above 30 to make sure that that series ascendant can stay large and in charge.
Large and in charge. So that whole flying clock, pretty good now.
Yeah.
So I guess
he's almost dead on board.
So I guess now you have to start blinking the Sarah's Ascendant just so it doesn't kill you. And that means that you can't. Well, no, because he can activate Displacer multiple times.
He can activate it twice right now.
Which means he can tap the Ascendant and kill a token and slow the clock down a good bit.
Yeah.
Which means he can. That Displacer is a big problem. Thomas wants a path.
Yeah, I would say so. 6/6 flying lifelink is pretty tough to deal with.
Alright, so we're gonna throw a bird in front. He's got plenty of mana. He can go ahead and use that bird as a speed bump. Oh, and this means he'll get to kill 2 tokens, so this is actually really good.
Yeah. He is allowing Thomas to gain a
Oh, and this means he'll get to kill 2
here,
tokens, so this is actually really good. Yeah. Well, there's not so much you can do about that.
Right. Well,
alright, so
if you want to beat Soul Sisters, you eventually have to start.
but now since he got to kill 2 of those tokens, on the next turn he can kill the 3rd token, and he has that Ascendant permanently locked down. Now since he's got to kill 2 of those tokens, okay, so now
Yeah, he's dead. He's also at 2. We haven't been updating his life total, but
oh yeah, we should probably do that. It's been a while since I've been in the booth.
he dies. Yeah, he's dead. He's also at 2. We haven't pretty much.
Oh yeah, we should probably do that.
Anything? I mean, he dies. He can blink the token, blink. He can't blink both of the Ascendants, so unless he drew Path here, he can blink
Which
the token.
he may have since he's not conceding.
He can't blink both of the Ascendants.
Or maybe he was just wanting to check Thomas to make sure he'd attack. Which he may have since he's not.
So here's the problem. His only source of white mana right now. Oh no, because he can use Cavernous Souls for that, right? You get to use abilities off Cavernous Souls.
I'm not sure. I don't
Is
think
any-
so. No,
it
I
needs to
think
be
it's just a.
colorless,
I think
right?
it's just a cast. Yeah, yeah.
okay.
It's
All right,
it's a colorless and 2
I'm
for
getting
the
it-
activation.
I'm getting it mixed up with its.
I don't think so. No,
Okay,
I think it's
casting
just a
colors.
I think it's just a cast. So yeah, it casts Eldrazi Displacer costs 2 and a white to cast,
Right,
and
yep.
a colorless and 2 to activate. All right, so Thomas gets game 1. We'll have to try harder on the life totals for game 2. Alright, so Thomas gets
Picked a rough
deck
to follow. For,
Remind me to add Soul Sisters to our soft ban list for camera matches.
Oh man.
Right up there with good old Scape Shift.
Well, it was fun while it lasted.
It was.
Why Scape Shift? What's wrong with Scape Shift?
It's just
Right up there with
and it's also like whenever they cast the Scape Shift, where it's just like, all right, do you want to do the math, figure out if he's dead, or do you just want to wait and see if he picks up his cards?
Yeah.
Whenever they cast the
I got to
Scape Shift,
pilot a Scape Shift deck.
all right, do you want
Not
to do the
all
math,
that long
figure out if
ago.
he's dead, or
Just messing around with some buddies.
Yeah.
It was fun. I mean, it seems like a really easy deck to play. Seems like a really easy deck to play and win with without having to do a lot. You just ramp
I'm gonna have
and
to
then
say
pray that you draw a Scape Shift.
those tokens were not Transformers cards because I'm 90% sure that's Wolverine.
Yeah. Looks like Wolverine to me.
Those tokens.
This is some weird Wolverine Transformers crossover.
So while we're between games here, I want to take a minute to talk about our event that we have tomorrow. It is our Team Unified Modern Tournament. It is at noon. It is $25 entry per player, and you play in teams of 3. So that means the team contributes $75 to the prize pool. And so Team Unified. What's unified? What's that? What's the difference between a unified team event and a regular constructed team?
Well, we learned this just the other night when I had Pat message you, because there has been a fairly recent change to
It
how
did.
Unified works.
When I looked, I guess it isn't actually that recent. of a
Oh, it's
change.
not.
No.
Well, maybe because Unified events don't get done that much.
Yeah, I wasn't aware that how it works just because I've never ran or played or watched or
Right.
paid any attention to a unified event.
Yeah, so one of my teammates in our team chat that we have, strategizing and such, brought up a deck building concern
Right.
with that new rule.
Right.
And I looked at brought up a deck building concern
Right.
with that new rule.
Right.
And I looked at brought up a deck building concern
Right.
with that new rule.
Right.
And I looked at a card other than a basic land shared between
The 3 players.
the 3 players.
Right.
So like one, you could do like a split where somebody has like 3 paths and the other person has 1 in their deck, but you couldn't do more than that. But the new rule is that if one deck has a card in it, no matter how many copies of that card are in that deck, none of the other decks on that team can use that card,
Right.
which is much more restrictive.
Insanely so.
Yeah.
Especially when you're talking about things like fetch lands.
Right.
And like if you wanted to play like multiple green decks or multiple blue decks, like that hurts. Also shock lands, because a lot of decks play like 1 or 2 of a single shock, like 3 color decks.
Right.
If you wanted somebody who one person wanted to play Jund and one person wanted to play Grixis, then you have to talk about Blood Crypt and Bloodstained Mire.
Yeah, who's getting what? Yeah, fortunately for my team, we came up on some deck lists that don't have any overlap, which is nice, and I'm sure everybody will. And one of the exciting things about that is that I'm expecting tomorrow's meta game to be very diverse.
Right. Well, it has to.
Yeah, it has to be.
All right.
So
Josh is on the play. He's going to start off with the Yavimaya Coast to take 1 to stir the pot. And he revealed another Eldrazi Displacer.
Josh
is on the who, despite his loss in Game 1, the Displacer was very good. There's Flagstones of Trocaire into a Sister. Who, despite his loss in Game 1, I mean, why not if you're playing all white, I guess. All right,
that's the one that if it goes to the graveyard, you get to search for another land, right? Or am I thinking of something
plains.
else? Another plains?
Yeah, if it is destroyed, you get to look for
That's the
plains.
one that if it goes to the
Alright, so here is the
Sky Spawner.
Sky Spawner, which brings in a 1/1 Eldrazi Scion.
Thomas up to 22.
Yes. So here is the Sky
Yeah, and that's the thing about Bant Eldrazi that I was talking about in this matchup that leads me to believe it's not going to be quite as good.
Well, I think that a key card in this matchup could be Reality Smasher, and we didn't see that because the trample is super relevant.
Right.
Well, I think that. All right, so it looks like he's going to Ghost Quarter himself to pull out 2 planes, which means he can thin his deck a little bit. He's going to Ghost Quarter himself. Interesting choice. I like it.
Yeah, he can also float 1 white and essentially have access to 2 white, which could be relevant if he wants to cast a Crusader. Or a
Name it.
I can't name it. I know what it does. I can't.
Activated abilities cost 2 more.
Costs 2 more, right?
Yep.
What's that called?
You asked me too fast.
I know what it does.
Activated abilities cost 2 more. But it's an enchantment for 1 and a white that says activated abilities cost 2 more, which may include but are not restricted to fetch lands. It's an enchantment for 1 and a white that says activated abilities. So it excludes mana abilities. Which might. All right, so here's an attack. Full 3, taking Thomas down to 19. And then here's Thought Knot Seer, so we're going to get to see Thomas's hand.
Good old Eldrazi Temples firing off those Thought Knot Seers.
So,
way before they should.
Ban Eldrazi doesn't actually play fetch lands, does it?
Not that I'm aware of, because they want the pain lands.
Yeah.
So that they can get the colorless mana off of them.
So Thomas shows Archangel Thune Plains, Spectral Procession, Path to Exile, and I'm not sure, and Iganjo Castle.
Probably want to take that.
Yeah.
That way you make sure at least that the Thought Knot Seer will stick, and
well, the Archangel
could
could
off the top.
The Archangel could be a real. I agree with taking Path, but
Yeah.
down the road, the Archangel could be a huge problem.
The Archangel could.
You got to deal with the immediate.
I agree.
I agree with taking Path.
All right, so here's Iganjo Castle, another good utility land.
Oh yeah, I love it if I'm running Ojutai.
Oh yeah, that's good. Well, he's got it for Macias and Kithian.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right, and then Spectral Procession, 3 dudes.
3 life. Gonna put him back up to 20.
Oh yeah. 2.
Oh no, 23 because he gained a life off of Thought Knot Seer.
Oh yeah. Might be. Yep.
This is gonna.
Oh, you know what? I think that's where I missed that point of life in game 1 is where he gained a life from his opponent's creature. Because I always forget that you gain life off of creatures from both sides of the board.
I think that's where I missed that point.
We're making you do work.
Because I always
Post vacation, come back and keep track of all the life totals.
So I had a vacation, but it wasn't. But vacation with kids is not the same as vacations when you're an adult. When you're just hanging out on the beach sipping margaritas.
But vacation.
All right, here's explosives for 0. I think.
Yeah. And it looks like he's gonna sack.
He's gonna have to pay
Scion.
He's gonna have to pay 4. Yeah. But that will clean up the tokens. I'm not sure like how good that enchantment is because there's not like Displacer. Like, it's really good against Displacer. Yeah.
Makes Displacer work a bit better.
And here's Noble Hierarch. And attack for 6.
Puts Thomas up to 24, and then attack will take him down to 18.
Got it. We are doing well this time.
It's gonna bother me if I can't run that enchantment.
I've had it cast against me semi recently actually.
Yeah, I mean I've played against that card. I've played against
Champion of the
more
Parish.
Enduring Ideal decks than I care to mention the past couple of weeks, and that is always in those.
And Thalia's Lieutenant, which will put a counter, 2 counters on Champion of the Parish and 1 counter on the Sister. Which will put a
Goodness, my phone is buzzing off the hook. I'm just trying to look up the name of that card here.
And here's an attack, and Josh falls down to a 14. I need to bring our Twitch chat back up. And Twitch chat is back. Here's an attack, and Josh falls down to a 14. I need to bring our here.
Oh, here we go. Suppression Field.
I knew that.
I knew it had the word field in it.
When I was at the GP in Louisville in January, I was in a side event on Sunday. I was playing against Enchantress, and they played that against me, and I was playing Maverick, and that just wrecks me because Maverick has a million activated abilities. Alright, so Noble Hierarch, we're casting Displacer, and this ability will cost 5.
Yep.
Which is certainly not good. But Thomas does.
This puts Thomas back up to 21 life because he has gained some life.
Yeah, he has gained.
Rion.
Certainly not good. But
it's not the math portion. It's the paying attention.
Remembering all the triggers.
Yeah. I can never play Soul Sisters. All right, and here's the attack. 4/6, taking Thomas down to 15.
So far, staying a little bit ahead of the life gain.
Yeah.
Josh is managing to do. See, now he's got the big beaters up.
Asera's Ascendant would be not be terribly threatening here. Here's Champion of the Parish.
Oh, that's a shiny Champion of the Parish.
Oh yeah. The whole deck's. I think the whole deck's foil. He's working on making it Japanese foil.
Oh
yeah.
We have
That's-
EJ in
I think the whole
Facebook
deck's
chat saying he can
He's
hear
working on
the
making it
stream
Japanese
twice.
football.
He's wondering if it's something on our end.
Let me see if I have it open. I think I might have. Yep, here we go. Boom, that should fix it.
Okay.
Sorry about that, guys.
Probably just affecting the people watching on Facebook, I imagine.
No, I
No?
think that'll
Think that'll
probably.
affect
Yeah,
both?
it should affect both.
Ah.
Yeah, because that, even though I have it muted so we can't hear it, it's still sound that's getting captured.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry about that. I'm still knocking the rust off myself a bit here. All right.
All right, so Josh got the big creature still, but Thomas keeps putting +1/+1 counters on his guys. It's going to
I think what Thomas
It's
wants
gonna
here
change
are
real quick.
flying creatures.
yeah.
Archangel, 1/1 spirits, Squadron Hawks if they were in his deck, but they're not. Looks like the players are discussing something. We might be getting a judge call here in a moment. They may be discussing life totals or suppression field. It could be a topic of conversation. Maybe one of us will step down there in a moment. Yes,
Oh,
I believe that is the
That's
signal
a judge call. You
for
want
a
me to go
judge.
down, or you want to go down?
Whichever you.
I'll go down.
Okay.
I'll be the runner. I'll be the errand boy today.
Well, I'll get the next one.
all right.
Yes, we are coming.
We're coming.
I'm imagining this is a judge call about suppression field, but we will enthusiastically await the return of Mr. Kurt Nye, and he will give us the lowdown. I will keep track of the time on this judge call. Maybe it's not about suppression field. Doesn't seem to be the case. But I'm sure Kurt can handle it. If you missed earlier, we are having a Team Unified Modern event tomorrow at noon. It is $25 per player, so $75 per team. It should be a pretty awesome event. I know a lot of people have put teams together and are brewing up some decks. Super excited. And just so you know, for Unified, that means that everybody is playing Modern, but nobody can play any of the same cards minus basic lands. So that means if I'm on a team with you and I'm playing Temple Garden, you may not play Temple Garden in your deck. It looks like we're having a question about counters on the Lieutenant and the Champions. There are a lot of triggers to remember in the Soul Sisters deck. It seems kind of straightforward. Put white creatures into play, turn them sideways, gain some life, blah, blah, blah. But you have a lot of things that you have to remember to do and do correctly, because if you get behind on your life total or in the number of counters on your creature, it can get screwed up very quickly. Alright, so it looks like we have life totals adjusted, the correct number of counters on all the creatures, and we are in Josh's main phase. So it was a question about counters on the critters?
It was, they forgot about the suppression field tax, and Josh didn't actually have enough mana up to flicker the captain.
Both players
when
forgot
he
about it?
attacked. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay.
we talked, and all play hadn't progressed beyond Josh drawing his card for the next turn, so I just had him rewind it back up to
Okay.
the attack.
Yeah, that's it. Sounds fair. Alright, here is Windbreast Guides. You know the text
Oh
on that
yeah,
one?
the hideaway, and so you get to look at the top 4.
Yep.
Exile 1 face down, and
Yep.
if you attack with at least 3 creatures, you can pay 1 white mana and tap the Windbreast Guides to cast the hidden away card. without paying
Emrakul
its
the
mana.
Aeon's Torn. It is not in this deck, but it's a
It would
used
be
to
hilarious.
used to be a combo in Legacy to do the Shelldock Isle Emrakul with Doomsday decks. But
Oh yeah, because then you just put your deck down to 5.
yeah, put your deck down to 5, and then
Make sure that
put
your Emrakul
the
is on top.
well you can put the Shelldock Isle on top, and then draw it, play it, hide away, put Emrakul under it, and then just activate it, and then you have
Yeah.
Well, activate it on the next turn. As long as they don't like wasteland your. Oh god, that'd be bad.
It seems like in Legacy that's like I feel like, and I don't play much Legacy. I'm not very experienced, but every time I've ever seen Legacy, Legacy to me is the format of like 1,000 Wastelands. Every
Yep.
deck like runs 4 Wastelands. You should expect to always get Wastelands.
Generally, every deck does that isn't a combo deck or a very heavy control deck.
Yeah.
And there are control decks that do. All right, getting the life totals readjusted. It looks like Josh is sacking some Scions to tap some creatures. He might be.
Yeah, that suppression field making the displacer a lot less useful.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think Tom's is gonna take this one. He's got a pretty big board advantage, in my opinion, right now.
I mean, they both have considerable boards, and the Displacer and the Thought-Knot Seer are good size. But these 3 creatures, the 2 champions and the lieutenant,
Yeah.
they grow with every human he casts. So
Right. So eventually they're gonna get big enough to just not even care about the Eldrazi. And I don't think Bandit's Eldrazi typically runs any sort of board wipe card, really.
Not even All's Dust?
I could see that maybe making it in, maybe
There's
like
attack
as
for
a
3.
sideboard card, but I don't know if Josh has it. I don't know if he's running
If you have it, you definitely board it in on this.
yeah,
deck.
for sure.
Because the only thing it kills on your side is Noble Hierarch.
Right, and Displacer.
Displacer's devoid, so it's colorless.
Oh, I always forget about that, yeah. So yeah, it seems like it'd be a great sideboard card to bring in for a Bandit Eldrazi deck, but I don't know if it's in his list or not, so...
Have to find out.
Alright.
Looks like Thomas has a sister, and I'm not sure.
Still has that art? Oh, did you just grab... He just grabbed the Archangel with... What did he flicker the Thought-Knot?
Yes.
Okay, there we go.
That's a pretty powerful combination.
Yeah, I mean, you let them draw a card when you flicker it, but you get to just look at whatever they get again and just keep doing their best stuff.
They'll draw before, but the way the stack works, so they'll draw and then you get to choose to exile.
Right.
That seems fair.
Yeah. Unless the only scenario where that's kind of bad is if they have a bomb in hand that you can't deal with, and then they
2
draw
bombs.
a second bomb.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you have 2 Archangels. Well, dang.
Oh, great.
That Champion of
I
the
guess
Parish.
you're still technically taking care of one of them, but yeah, Champion of the Parish is a sweet card, dude.
And if Thomas had the reverse All Is Dust, like blow up all the colorless creatures.
I played in a Innistrad draft back when that was
Up to
what
16.
was going on
Ah.
in the day, and Ryan screwing up the life totals. And I drafted one time a really sweet green-white humans deck that I really championed the Parish like A++.
I
Pretty
played
sweet card.
that was Humans was my deck of choice. That standard.
Yeah.
I played it basically the entire season, and then right at the end of the season, I picked up Birthing Pod decks. I was like, oh my god, why didn't I do this the entire time? And I just broke our life total counter.
Oh boy. Well, we'll have faith in the fact that they're keeping track of their own life total.
I know. I'm gonna fix it.
So Josh is at 10. Thomas is at 16.
It seems like I'm having an issue with the keyboard.
Can you type in anything?
Nope.
Oh, it is a keyboard issue. Did the battery die?
Possibly.
Alright, well, we're going to look into a faulty keyboard issue where Ryan is, and I'm going to keep talking about what's going on. So it looks like he's going to double block the Thalia's Lieutenant with a Thought-Knot and a Displacer. And then he's going to pay 5. And he's thinking about activating Displacer, it looks like, and not sure what he's going to choose. Okay, he's going to blink Sky Spawner to get another Scion token, which puts Thomas back up to 20.
Boom. We did
We
it.
got it.
We got
All
it.
And there's a Ranger Vios.
Up to 22.
Puts Thomas at 22. In short of like an All Is Dust or a Wrath, I don't see how Josh gets out of this one at this point.
It's possible that Thomas's mother could be hospitalized and he'll have to leave.
I shouldn't be laughing at that. That's pretty bad, but
Yeah, I'm trying to think of Josh's outs here.
right, yeah. Flipping the table.
If Thomas gets enraged and
decided.
flips the table,
Yes.
yeah. And then we have to disqualify him. Yeah.
Right, yeah. So
Yeah.
Josh just has to just start picking away at Thomas.
No, we don't recommend the players do that. It's very unsportsmanlike. You will be asked to leave.
Yeah.
All right, so it looks like Thomas is getting Sarah's Ascendant, which we're not quite at 30, but he can get there, and also a Kytheon.
Yeah, I mean, Thomas's board is starting to kind of grow exponentially out of control here, so...
How would you feel if that's actually Jace Vryn's Prodigy, and we're just to troll us, we're assuming it's Kytheon, but we can't tell. It's really been Jace Vryn's Prodigy.
I mean, he has no way of casting it, Jace.
No, he's got an island. Island's right on top, ready to go. We saw Flooded Strands.
Something tells me that we're not going to see a Jace.
It's Jace. He flips it, flashes back Spectral Procession.
That's about the only semi-useful thing you can do with a Jace.
That would be amazing. Can you, if you had a bunch of sisters out, cast Spectral Procession,
but
flash it back?
why not?
Snapcaster Mage is a human. Jace Vryn's Prodigy is a human. I don't know.
Kytheon just seems better.
You should play Esper, though. You can play Lingering Souls.
Alright. Why doesn't he just play Goryo's Vengeance then? Like, what is this?
I don't know. Probably because Ranger Vios isn't very good and Esper Goryo's Vengeance.
No.
I'm just saying. Alright, let me get these life totals up.
Gonna keep gaining life.
Stop brewing
Puts
bad decks on
another-
camera.
There you go. Played a Drowner of... What is it called? Drowner of Hope?
Drowner of Hope, yes.
Yeah. It's a big one.
He's a big boy.
Grows the life total too, though.
And
So-
we're just about at 30 for that Sarah's Ascendant. Which will be at 30 when he casts it, so.
Yep.
Alright, so here's 2 for Spellskite.
Spellskite?
Yeah, it's a Spellskite.
Well, that's going to make dealing with anything Thomas has pretty hard.
So he'll gain 2 here, and that'll take him up to 30.
Yep.
And then the Sarah's Ascendant will take him up to 30.
32.
Yep.
So he won't even lose his buff.
Oh, and
for
here's
paying to...
3 more dudes.
Oh,
Seriously, which is
ugh.
36.
Yep.
Oh my.
Yep.
Oh my.
That's a lot of life.
A lot of life.
That is. Not quite as much life as, let's say, Infinite off of Devoted Druid combo.
That's mana, not life, right?
Well, yeah, but they can...
They played both.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot. Most of the ones I've seen still have Kitchen Finks in there
Yeah, I
for
mean,
Infinite Life.
why not?
Yeah, I mean, if you have a deck where you can run like 8 different combos
Alright.
off of like 3 cards, why not?
So it looks like Josh needs to do some blocking. Is there like any 0 mana costed thing that Thomas can flash in here to give his guys trample and blow out Josh?
For 0, no.
Are you sure?
I
That
don't
sounds
think
like a
so.
card.
It'd have to be Phyrexian mana, and I don't think such a card exists.
I'm just kidding.
I'll tell you what, another engineered explosives off
That-
the top would be pretty good for Josh.
Yeah, he'd want one for 1 and maybe even one for 0.
Alright, well, we know there's another one in there because he's had 2 different arts for 1. So
Yeah.
we know he's got at least
And
2.
Ancient Stirrings are redraws.
Yeah. So
And actually, Ancient Stirrings can draw for all his dust if it's in his deck as well.
true, can do that as well. All's Dust, I think, would be
The best draw,
The
yeah.
best.
Yeah. Until Thomas is just like Warping Whale. Boom. Counter it.
just gonna keep making more.
Actually, is All's Dust an instant or a sorcery?
It's a sorcery.
It is a sorcery. Okay.
Yeah. And Josh here, he's at 4 life. He's fighting what I would say is a losing battle because he's trying to make as many Scions a turn as he can just to jump block.
Yeah, but you can't.
But
he
every
can't
time
make
he
enough to
does
keep up.
that,
And
right? Well, every time he does that, Thomas gains.
well, I think like at this point
bunch
you
of
don't
life.
care about life. You just care about the board.
Right.
Yeah.
He's got to stay alive long enough to
Draw.
all his dust if he has it, or engineered explosive, which you know he definitely has.
So there's a
There's a
smasher.
smasher.
And I think smasher would have been good at the point where Thomas had a bunch of 1/1s, but now that he's had
He's
these
got
the two champions and the
8/8.
lieutenant, yeah,
8/8 champion, a 5/5 champion, a 6/6 lieutenant.
7. Is it start off as a 1/1?
Who?
The Values lieutenant.
Oh, I think so.
I'm not sure.
Could be a 2/2.
I was thinking in my head it was a 2/2, but I wasn't sure.
There's a Sarah Ascendant, gonna pump up all the guys. Gonna gain him a bunch of life. I don't even know how much life he has now. Why don't you just pick a number? Just...
Hold on. Hold on, I can fix this.
There's Kithian.
There we go.
Yeah. He's at 9 and some dots.
It's called an ellipses, sir. All right,
There's. Yeah, I mean, he's got to, like, he's going to go to 1. Well, no, he can block a token. So he's
token.
going to 2.
Yeah. So, well, he can also sack things to tap. Well, that'd have to be pre-combat. No, and he'd have to pay because of the suppression field. He'd have to pay for each of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He can do 1 activation right now, I think.
Right.
And at this point, it's like, what do you even flicker? It's not. I don't think there's a good situation here other than him drawing a board wipe off the top.
Yeah, which honestly, the fact that he's still playing this game makes me think he has something like that in his deck.
Yeah, I mean, we know he for sure has another engineered explosives, at least.
Yeah.
We don't know what else he has.
How bad would it be if he like survives this turn, untaps, draws all his dust, and casts it, and then we have to figure out what Thomas's life total is because it's now relevant.
We just wait till Josh beats him down a little bit.
Yeah.
Until they get down to a life total that we can.
You mean instead of going downstairs and being like, "Oh, guys, we weren't paying attention."
Yeah. No.
All right, he's down to 2. Josh gets another turn. Here it is. All's dust off the top. That's a Yavimaya Coast.
All right, here's where you tap your pain lands and just go out like a boss.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
All right. Thomas Jones takes the match 2-0.
Yep.
Boom, up there on the screen for you. I don't think we're going to get another match under here. But
no, they started late in the round and they took a lot of time, so I bet most of the other matches are probably done by now.
On the off chance, we will do that, but otherwise we'll be back for round number 2, guys. Thanks for watching. All right, guys, welcome back to Friday Night Magic at the Four Horsemen. Kurt, who do we have in the boot in the feature match area?
We have Jimmy Nutter and Chris Gorski.
The old Chris Gorski. What are they playing?
Jimmy is playing Affinity, and Chris Gorski is running green-white. I'm assuming it's humans. Could be hate bears.
We'll find out.
Didn't quite... I took a quick peek at his opening hand. I saw only humans. That's why
So that's
I assumed it was green-white humans. It could be hate bears.
seemed like a pretty strong turn one from James Nutter there.
Yeah.
What do we got?
We have a Meta Knight and a Darksteel Citadel into a Mox Opal.
Casting Steel Overseer.
Into a Steel Overseer.
Oh my.
And that's going to get out of hand really quick because we all know if you're playing against Affinity and they stick an Overseer and they get to activate it even one time, you're probably already dead.
Probably.
It's...
I like Avacyn's Pilgrim. Probably doesn't beat this.
No.
Use the big dice. There we go.
No, like a turn one path would have been really good. Gorsy's
Oh,
praying
my.
for like a holdout until
Oh, my.
turn 4 into a Wrath of God or something.
This
but-
is, you might be considering like just scooping it up so your opponent doesn't have a lot of information about
Right.
your deck. All right, he's swing for 2. Chris is down to 16.
Yep.
Because if I see like Temple Garden into Avacyn's Pilgrim, I'm not completely sure what my opponent is playing.
And is Chris 0-1 or is he 1-0?
I thought Jimmy was paired down.
Oh, okay. You could be correct. Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty.
This is making me think
I'm
it's
gonna make
tribal.
this joke, but
Uh-huh.
Nuts got the nuts.
Oh, ho, ho, ho.
Yeah, he did it. Where's Wyatt? I need the air horn right now.
Beep.
He would have air horned that.
He would have. Sorry, I don't have that ready.
Yeah.
All right, so he is playing. It looks like he is playing tribal humans because he's
Yep.
playing Cavernous Souls, naming humans.
Yep. All right.
And Avacyn's Pilgrim is a good tell though, because that normally probably would be a Birds of Paradise.
Yeah, yeah. So
Here's Thalia, but I think she's just a wee bit late.
yeah, you can't. If he, I mean, I doubt Chris is running any kind of board wipes.
Mm-hmm.
So I really don't see how he stabilizes from this position.
I mean, it used to be a white weenie strategy to throw out a couple guys and wipe the board from your side, and then you rebuild faster because you have a bunch of 1 and 2 mana guys. But I'm not. If he's playing Thalia, he's probably not playing any.
Right. Yeah. So
That whole white weenie strategy kind of died when Thalia was printed.
yeah, just got better to tax him out. But I mean, he's gonna get slammed here for a couple turns unless Chris draws like a couple paths and launches him off real well.
So here's an attack for 5, and then
And pumps them all.
make it 8.
So yeah, the Pestermites pump each other, right?
They give each other attacking creature +1/+0.
Yeah.
It's battle cry.
Right.
So here's a path which will eliminate 4 points of damage, I believe. Because it'll
Well, it
remove.
would be a 2. It would be. There we go. All right.
Yeah.
So it'd be 3.
Oh, actually, and Chris can't cast the path because of his Thalia.
Oh yeah. Yep. So he's taking 3, 6. He's taking 10 here.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Oh my.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't see how Chris gets himself out of the situation. Thalia honestly hurt him. Like, it's not doing anything, Jimmy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it'll make a cranial plating
Yeah.
cost 3.
So
All
they
right.
jump to
So,
5.
yeah, it's 11 damage.
Did I miscount? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, did he attack with? Oh no. Yep. All right. There's a
I mean,
scoop.
I think I might have even scooped it up after the first activation of the.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to see if we can get Jimmy to sideboard incorrectly.
Yeah. I don't know if Chris had that path in his opening hand. I really think just pathing the Steel
Oh
Overseer
no,
on
yeah, I
turn
definitely
one would've been-
would have done that. You can't let them activate Steel
No.
Overseer ever. I'm not sure I've ever seen an Affinity player lose a game where they've activated Steel Overseer.
Yeah, I don't think so.
unless it was against like Storm or something that just didn't care. Anyways, all right. So our players are going to the sideboards. I think.
Didn't Steel Overseer get printed right around the same time that Scars of Mirrodin came out?
No, Steel Overseer was from the original Mirrodin block.
No, it wasn't. It was a core set card.
Steel Overseer?
Yeah.
Well, let's go to the tapes, ladies and gentlemen.
We're gonna look this up.
I could definitely be wrong.
It was
Steel Overseer is from Magic 2011. Yeah, so that's the core set previous to Scars of Mirrodin. You are correct.
Right. What a card.
I guess that would have been pretty nightmarish to get released in the original Mirrodin block.
Yeah, Mirrodin was busted enough. Like,
yeah. I mean, I guess Affinity was already the best deck, so what would it have mattered if Steel Overseer was in the format?
Yeah, Mirrodin is definitely a set that I think like should have never even seen the printing press, and Scars of Mirrodin almost gets that same honor as well, in my opinion. But
I don't know, like the only super busted cards from that block were Batterskull and Swords, and some of the new Phyrexian mana cards.
Mox Opal.
Mox Opal, yeah, but that card should probably be banned anyway, so it doesn't.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised they have. Memnite.
Pestermite. Pretty much everything that
gets used. Yeah, but Memnite and Pestermite are only played in this deck, though.
Right, yeah.
And I guess, like, the Cheerios deck and the, what's the red artifact deck where it has the card where you, like, sacrifice an artifact and put 2 1/1 mirrors? Or
that's, isn't that Kark Clan Ironworks, sort of?
No. I forget what it's called. It's somebody around here used to play it.
Speaking of sweet red decks, I just recently found out about Mono Red Tron.
Gross.
It's hilarious looking.
What's the red for?
So I saw somebody do like a thing of it on MTGO where they ran through some games and actually went 4-1 in a league, and I think it was maybe a competitive league.
Okay.
And it was silly. It's super trolly. Basically, your win cons are Stuffy Doll, and then you like Blasphemous Act.
Okay.
I'm
listening.
And the big combo is Pyromancer's Goggles.
Ugh.
To copy, so you can double Blasphemous Act. And then they use Chandra Pyromancer, I think it is, which can also
so
copy
you can do like 13 damage to your Stuffy Doll, which will do 13 damage to them.
Right, and if you... So the Pyromancer's Goggles cost 5. You can tap it for a red mana, and if you use that red mana to cast an instant or sorcerer spell, you get to make a copy of that spell.
I just want to give a quick shout out to Brew Spy, the Magic guy, for auto-hosting us. We really appreciate that.
Oh, sweet. And, yeah, so you do it that way. You either blast him out with a Stuffy Doll and Blasphemous Axe or something like that.
Yeah.
Or also has a much simpler win con where you just produce degenerate amounts of mana with your Tron lands and then you Banefire them.
Boom.
For, like, 16, 17.
I haven't seen Banefire cast in quite a while.
Yeah. So, I found out about it because I was watching a streamer... I forget his real name, but his streaming name is Joe Arthas.
Yeah.
And he typically streams blue-white control, like competitive leagues and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Goes
to Pro Tours or not Pro Tours, but Grand Prix and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I was tuning in one day.
Grafdigger's Cage.
In his game 3 against that deck. And seemed like he had everything on lockdown.
Yeah.
And then he was just like, boom, Banefire for 17.
So I think Chris is playing Bant.
Oh. Look at that.
I think based on the fact that Jimmy boarded in Grafdigger's Cage, he might think that Chris is playing Collected Company.
I mean, he might be.
It seems
using
weird.
Collected Company anyways, but it still kind of looks like it.
It seems weird with Thalia.
It does.
But I mean, Thalia is so they're both such good cards. You might play them together anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure.
Much slower start.
Much
for
slower.
Affinity too.
Whereas Chris is probably having his best start, Champion of the Parish into Thalia's Lieutenant.
Yeah.
All right, so here's a Steel Overseer. We'll see if Chris has a Path to Exile for
I hope he does.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see a Game 3. Steel Overseer with 2 Ornithopters can be a pretty fast clock. Although he will... James will have to answer these threats. Okay, so that'll put a counter on each of these guys.
Yeah. So Red Tron.
Yeah.
It's pretty sweet.
Sounds blasphemous.
I think by no means like competitive.
He's in here
really,
for 4.
But it'd be fun like F&M deck.
Yeah, throw it together, flying, bring it to an F&M.
Stuffy Dell. I love Stuffy Dell.
Yeah.
Card is hilarious.
All right, yeah, here's the path
There
for
you
the
go.
Overseer.
There we go.
Attack for 5 will take James down to 12. Boom.
Does Thalia's Lieutenant have Vigilance?
Does what have Vigilance? No, he attacked for...
He
got the Exalted Trigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I play Magic, people, I swear. I know it.
Yeah.
I know how this game works.
Springleaf Drum was the draw.
Ooh, that is a shiny metal.
You have a Spire of Industry, and I can't really see what else he's got.
In hand?
Yeah, in
Can't
hand.
see it. We're about to find out. He's going to cast something. Or not.
He needs to cast some of these spells before a Thalia comes down.
Yeah.
Unless Chris boarded him out. Would you board out the Thalias here?
It's tempting, I mean, because Affinity doesn't play like a ton of non-creature.
It's got Springleaf Drum,
It
Cranial
does.
Plating.
I think its impact against Affinity is pretty marginal.
It's good against the Moxes, but the thing is that usually the Moxes will be cast before the Thalia.
Right, yeah.
I guess it makes the late game Moxes bad, but those are pretty bad anyway. Here's Arcbound Ravager.
Yeah.
That's a pretty strong play. That demands a Path to Exile. Even so, he'll still get to move some stuff around.
Mm-hmm.
Arcbound Ravager's really powerful magic card.
Yeah, Modular was sweet, but really Arcbound Ravager's the only one worth using.
I've seen the 1 mana 1/1.
Oh yeah.
Arcbound Worker.
Yep.
Yeah, I've seen that one get played. Chris Anderson would play that in his Affinity list. Back when I was still following the format a little more heavily. Alright, so it looks like Chris is going to cast a spell. Assemble the banned colors.
Oh.
Reflector Mage.
Gonna reflect.
I like that's huge.
the Arcbound Ravager.
And put 2 counters on his guys. Ooh.
pretty sweet.
Yeah. I gotta say.
Humans are cool.
Reflector Mage's art is so perfect for what it does because he's just like casting that spell that just like blows you out.
I'm glad that with Innistrad, Wizards finally decided to make tribal humans like an actual thing.
Yeah,
Humans are sweet. Well, I mean, we're all human, are we not?
we are. All right, so it looks like
He's gonna just put it all in an Ornithopter.
yeah, he's just gonna go ahead and sack a whole bunch of things to put counters on Ravager, then sack the Ravager in response, and then put give himself
He's
a 4 or
leaving
5.
himself very vulnerable to a path.
Oh, he is.
So
Granted, Chris only has 3 more. So, and I guess Jimmy's thoughts is he looks like he's a big dog to win this game, so he might as well give himself like a way to win.
yeah.
All right, and then in for 6 with the Thalia's Lieutenant,
Yeah.
or with the Champion of the Parish.
Not a race I think Jimmy can win though.
No.
So.
I mean, and even like a Cranial Plating isn't good here because it just give it
1, 2,
just 3. Yeah, he just has 3 artifacts. Here's Master of Ethereum
no, he
though.
wouldn't even have 3. Now he'd have 3. He'd have to activate the Ink Moth.
Oh, I thought that was the Dark Steel set.
be-
No,
yeah,
it's a
yeah.
Blink Moth Nexus.
Is that Blink Moth? or
It's
Ink
Blink Moth.
I can never tell.
It's the new art on Blink Moth.
Okay. Yeah, they look almost the same to me. I get why they do that for flavor purposes, but Master of Ethereum, sweet card. I went. Oh,
Yep, and Jimmy's just gonna pick it up
Scoop
there.
it up. Yeah, when Shards of Alara came out, which is one of my favorite blocks ever.
I tend to like multicolored blocks.
I had a lot
Yeah.
of fun with that block. Me and my buddies, we drafted that block a lot, and I just loved. And I know like if you could draft like Jund or Naya, you're really heavily favored.
Right.
But I liked to draft. Esper was sweet. Like, I thought Esper was cool. Master Ethereum was a sweet card. I like the whole colored artifacts shenanigans.
I never got to draft it. That was pre my experience, but years ago, we used to, in these parts, we used to have a block constructed league.
Oh, sweet.
Where we'd have a tournament each month, and each month was a different block, so you had a month to build your deck and prepare. And we did a Shards block tournament, and I played Bant, and that was a ton of fun. My deck was like
Did you slam some Rafiks?
Noble.
Rafik of the
So
Night?
Noble Hierarch, Kasali Pride Mage, Steward of Valoron, Knight of the Reliquary, Rafik. Yeah, that was.
Finest Hour. you slip that in there?
No, I don't think I did.
Have you ever?
I had a Wargate.
See, my buddy ran a Bant deck. We had a lot of Shards block decks at the time because we loved it so much. And my buddy had a Bant deck, and he had Rafik. He had.
It was Rafiking crazy.
He had Rafik. He had that enchantment that has Exalted and lets you tap a creature when a creature you. There's an enchantment that's like when a creature you control attacks alone, you get to tap.
Yeah, I've
creature
seen it,
from-
and it has Exalted, doesn't it?
Yeah, it has Exalted, and then he had another. There's another card from the block that makes it so that only one creature can attack and one creature can block
Right.
each combat, and then Finest Hour lets you get multiple combat steps and has Exalted. And he would like it was degenerate to play against because he'd attack you with like first attack would be like a 9/9 double striking Rafik,
Yeah.
and he'll just blow out whatever you have because you can only block with one creature. And then it's like, yes, Finest Hour, so you can untap and attack again. Or he's got two Finest Hours, so he's got 3 combat steps. And every time
gross.
Rafik just would be like, I think one time he attacked me with like a 30/30 something Rafik.
That's
a
disgusting.
double strike, and it was the 3rd time he had attacked me in the same turn, and I was
Ew.
like...
Ew. Looks like Jimmy is going down to 6. Chris is keeping his 7.
Yep. Are those the Hareruya
Hareruya.
sleeves?
Yes, they are.
I like those sleeves.
Chris and Paul like to use them
Yeah.
a lot, yeah.
They're nice.
Hareruya. I might switch to those if I weren't so invested in pink dragon shields. Outside of my cube, every single card I own, be it in a deck or in a binder, has a pink dragon shield on it.
So I made the swap recently from Dragon Shields over to the KMC Hypermats.
I've heard that the
Or KCM Hypermats? KMC?
Yeah, I heard that they had a new. They changed hands and their quality went down quite a bit.
I like them more than Dragon Shield.
Mm-hmm.
One of the big things they get that wins me over that is the size. The Dragon Shield sleeves tend to be a little too big for my preference.
Oh.
So they catch a lot. And also, I have a hard time. Every time I've ever tried to double sleeve with Dragon Shields, it has been a huge pain. I have really bad issues with the inner sleeves not fitting correctly, or they get pushed out.
I've
going
never.
into the sleeves.
Yeah, see, now I've always all of my cards are double sleeved, and I've never had that issue.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I bought 2 or 3 packs of Dragon Shields. I had that issue with, and I was even using Dragon Shield inners.
Here's 4 cards.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, but I switched to KMC Hypermats and still use the Dragon Shield inner sleeves.
Mm-hmm.
And man, it is a thing of beauty. They fit so snug. They're so nice. I like it. I dig it. There's a mod.
Like
so
ebony and ivory.
cool. Man, nothing like bowling to what?
Ugh.
5?
No, he
And
molded
then Did he mold to 6 or did he mold to 5?
Oh, I guess I did go to
I
5.
think he molded to 5.
Yeah, unless he's got his last card off to the left somewhere.
Yeah.
No, it looks like he did mold a 5, but yeah, that's a pretty good 5. In for 6 on turn 2.
That's just like the last Grand Prix, right?
I don't know.
Didn't that happen?
I don't know.
Oh, did you not watch that?
I don't really watch
I
modern
think the
coverage anymore.
finals was an Affinity deck versus
At Vegas, or?
Yeah, I think it was Vegas. It came down to Affinity versus think it was Hate Bears, like mono white Hate Bears.
I remember somebody saying that Hate Bears was in the finals of Vegas. Yeah.
And game 2, the Affinity player won game 1, and then game 2, he mulled to like 4 on the draw, and then just still smashed a guy because Affinity.
Yeah, I remember because Death and Taxes won the Legacy Vegas Grand Prix, and then somebody said that also a Hate Bear deck in Modern made it to the finals for.
Two Hate Bears decks actually made it to the top 8. I think it was Carglesco, his green-white Hate Bears made it to the top 8, and then the mono white made it 2. 3 Affinity decks in the top 8 of that.
That's gross. That's real gross.
Always got to bring your Affinity hate in your sideboard, because just when you think it's a non-factor, that's when all the Affinity decks make it to the top 8.
You're right. You're right. We hadn't had anybody play Affinity at the store in, I want to say, like almost 2 years, and then Brady Hogue started playing it.
Yep.
And now Jimmy, I'm not sure if this is Jimmy's deck, or if he borrowed it.
I think he's borrowing it.
I know Kazu had it built at one point. I think he played it a little bit during Eldrazi Winter.
You missed a couple weeks of Kazu running an interesting, like Sultai Eldrazi.
I was here the first time you played it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we covered it. Was it you and me? Maybe it was me and... No, I think it was you and I.
No. Wyatt and I covered it.
Oh, I
think that was the first time he had played it running.
I covered it the first night he had it.
Oh, okay. All right. And there's a Steel Overseer. Things just keep...
Oh, no, I was running FNM that night.
Yes.
And you and Wyatt were up in the booth. Yeah. Yes.
Got a path, or 2, or 3.
Or he's on 8. Is that a 6 or an 8?
It looks like a 6, because it kind of looks like the little dot is next to it.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So how does Chris Gorski pull himself out of this pit?
At least 2 Path to Exiles, if not 3.
Well, those would cost 4. They would cost 2 each.
Oh yeah, because he's got Thalia.
Yeah. All right. And
he doesn't. Yeah.
So Jimmy's gonna take this one 2-1 and move up to 2-0.
All right. Ooh, Welding Jar. Interesting. Pretty sweet. Haven't seen that in too many
counters.
I know it used to be in there.
Pride Mage. Yeah. All right, so we have a good bit of time on the clock. We're going to go see if we can get a second match for you guys. We will be right back. All right, guys, welcome back. We're here at our third round feature match. I've got Kazu Negri on the right. He's playing 5-color Shadow Zoo versus Mark Ballard on the left. He's playing the Enduring Ideal deck. Kurt, can you please give the people a brief explanation of the deck while I get us rolling here?
Which deck? Enduring Ideal?
Yes.
Oh, man. I like this deck a lot. Not my personal preference for what I would play, but it is a fun deck. So Enduring Ideal plays almost entirely, in fact, it might actually be entirely enchantments minus the Enduring Ideal card itself.
Right.
So basically, what Mark is going to try to do is lock Kazu out of the game entirely using a suite of enchantments that will make it next to impossible for Kazu to attack, to cast certain cards, because he runs Rune Halo. I think he runs Nevermore in this list too. He runs suppression fields, makes it hard to activate abilities, do all that kind of stuff. And then once he has the board locked down, he also has a little bit of mana ramp because he, I think, runs 4 ley lines in the main board. So you can start with a bunch of ley lines on the battlefield and then use Nykthos to kind of ramp up a little bit.
I see Ghostly Prison.
Yep, Ghostly Prison. Sphere of Safety. Just makes it hard for them to do anything. And then the end goal is to cast Enduring Ideal. It has Epic, which was a Kamigawa ability. They printed 1 Epic card in each color. And what it is that... Yeah, we keep talking. All right. So what it is we have... if a card with Epic is cast and resolves, then for the rest of the game, the player who casts the card with Epic cannot cast any more spells.
Okay.
But at the beginning of each of their upkeeps, they will make a copy of the card that they cast that has Epic. So basically, once he casts Enduring Ideal...
Is he down to 4? Yes, he's down to 4.
Yeah. So once he casts Enduring Ideal, he won't be able to cast anything else for the rest of the game. But at the beginning of each of his upkeeps, Mark will be able to basically find any enchantment out of his deck that he wants.
That's crazy.
And put it onto the battlefield.
Yeah, that's pretty disgusting.
Because that's what Enduring Ideal does. I forgot to mention. It has Epic, and then it lets you basically search for an enchantment and put it on the battlefield.
So, Mark rolled to 4.
Yep.
But he gets to start with a ley line in play, which might be okay against the Zoo deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he has Plains go, and Kazu's going to say Arid Mesa go after a Bauble.
Yep. So, I actually played against Mark last week, and I was on Blue Eye Control, and our matchup was hilarious and slow, and Ron didn't even start the timer in the last round, so we weren't even sure, like, what to do. Yeah, so, yeah, I took game 1, and then we goofed off a bunch in game 2, and I got locked down. I got, Form of the Dragon, and then we just decided to draw because we didn't want to play a third game because it took so long.
You saw Kazu had to target himself off that Bauble because of the ley line.
Because of the ley line,
yeah.
Yeah, you know what's sweet is when you ultimate a Jace Architect, I thought, and take an Enduring Ideal player's one and only copy of Form of the Dragon.
What's funny is that this ley line will protect Mark against a Jace the Mind Sculptor ultimate.
What's that?
Kazu won't be able to ultimate Jace the Mind Sculptor to win because he can't target Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, no, it doesn't. Jace the Mind Sculptor's ultimate does not target.
Oh, it doesn't?
So you can't.
It just says,
an
for
opponent. For each player, you search that player's library for
That is not Jace the Mind Sculptor. That is
no,
Jace
no.
Architect of Thought. Yeah.
That's what I said.
Yeah, but I said Mind Sculptor.
Oh, Mind Sculptor. Oh, okay. We had a little miscommunication there.
No, I knew what I was talking about.
Oh, okay.
All right, here's Kazu has taken himself down to 12, so he has a 1/1 Death Shadow, and also
Kazu's also forgotten to put his lands in the back.
We'll fix him for game 2.
Yeah. Oh, I told him right before he came upstairs.
Oh.
I think he does this just to mess with me.
He wants you to get exercise. He wants you to walk down the stairs. There's
a Runed Halo.
I would imagine that's naming Death Shadow.
He's gonna name something. Yeah, Death Shadow is pretty good.
Now, just a reminder, it is an enchantment for white, where you pick a card and you have protection from that card.
And this came up when Mark and I were playing because he did not know this, and since I have a little bit of judge knowledge myself, I actually knew this.
Death Shadow. Thank you.
You cannot name.
Thank you, Mark.
You cannot name a token with your Halo.
Because it says card.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
So, yeah, because what Mark tried to do to me, which is what he'll probably try to do this, one of the first lock pieces you're going to want to get off your Enduring Ideal, probably your first Enduring Ideal, is a Dovescape.
Yeah.
And so he Dovescaped me, and then he tried to cast Rune Halo Naming Bird. And I had to inform him that, unfortunately, as sweet of an idea as that is, that he cannot do that.
So,
Now he knows that.
There are instances where you can name tokens to effects because tokens do have names.
They do, right.
But if it says, it asks you specifically for a card.
Right, yeah, you have to do, if you want to nab all the tokens, you have to do it off of like a Maelstrom Pulse type effect or an Echoing Truth where you target a permanent and all the other permanents with the same name.
Like, zombie token. You target a zombie token and kill the rest of the zombie tokens.
Yep.
Yes.
So once if Mark can get the Enduring Ideal down, he's going to want to get Dovescape, and then if he's feeling a little bit of heat still, he's going to basically start getting his Ghostly Prisons and his Sphere of Safeties until he can't be attacked, and then the ultimate end goal of Enduring Ideal is to get a Form of the Dragon.
So what's this one?
Form of the what's this that he just played?
Yeah, let's talk about what's going on.
That is I forget the name of the enchantment itself, but it gives all his other enchantments Shroud.
Okay. So Kazu had played a rally attack for 3 with the Nikotl, played the Rallier, got back the Bauble, and now Mark has given all of his enchantments Shroud. And here's Swift Spear, Swift Spear, and Kazu's taken himself all the way down to 5. But he has quite the board.
Yeah. Death Shadow not gonna do much.
He could still attack with it.
So if he gets another, I think it's Greater Oromancy.
Yeah, I think that is correct. Yeah. So here's an attack for 8.
Yeah.
Taking Mark all the way down to 9.
So he really needs like a Ghostly Prison here.
Humility would be good.
Humility
not
is
legal.
Not legal format.
I think this mulligan. Here's a Tarmogoyf. I think this mulligan's really.
The 4. Yeah, that's lethal.
Yeah, this is definitely lethal with the Tarmogoyf.
So he's got him for you.
Yeah, he's just counting. All right, so Kazu's quickly gonna take game 1 off of the back of a Multa 4 from Mark Bowd.
Pretty rough.
But it seemed like with a couple more log pieces, Mark could have been a lot more in that game.
A Ghostly Prison anywhere in there would have been super helpful.
Super.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to quickly move on to game 2. Our players are sideboarding now. We're going to take another minute to mention our event tomorrow. We do have a Team Unified Modern tournament this tomorrow at noon. The entry fee is $75 per team, which breaks down to $25 per player. And Unified does mean that everyone is playing Modern, but no one can cross their cards, meaning if I play Temple Garden, no one else on my team can play Temple Garden, regardless of how many copies I play. And, of course, that does exclude basic lands.
Yep.
Does that exclude cards like Relentless Rats or Shadows of Apostle?
I think there that official rules page that we looked at, I think, had a section in there for that. I think you can have like Relentless Rats.
Well, let's just find out. Or we don't need to watch people sideboard, so we're just gonna find out. You guys can still watch, but you can listen to us. Team Unified Constructed.
I think you lost your keyboard there again.
This keyboard is.
I think we need some new batteries.
Last time there it goes. It seems like it has a delay on it sometimes.
Oh.
Team Unified Constructed.
There we go.
Alright, so we are looking at the official Wizards of the Coast Team Unified Constructed page. Looking at the... Oh, hold on. This is not the page that we wanted.
No.
I think this is the one we wanted.
No, I think this is tournament coverage you're going to look
This
at.
is, yes.
Yep.
But it may have the rules on it. No, it does not. Okay. Let me check up on the players real quick. They're still sideboarding. I had that rules.
Yeah, I can probably find it in my old team chat too if we want to look at it on here.
Yeah, I had a link to it at some point.
Here we go. Oh no, this is the same page. It just looks different.
I had the page I looked at had a lot more information on it.
Okay. With the exception of cards with the basic super type or cards with text that specifies otherwise.
So if we entered this,
Right.
like let's say you, me, and Ryan enter this, all three of us could play Relentless Rats decks if we wanted to.
Yep, and we could have 30 Relentless Rats in all of our decks.
Awesome. All right, so Mark's on the play. He's
not
gonna
sure,
say,
not sure why we would want to do that.
I mean, I would. I'd be down. All right. Plains into Lotus Bloom. Kazu has a bauble, and he will get to target Mark this turn. He's going to show him a Plains. And then Forest into Wild Nick. And we did not step downstairs.
No,
We're going to have to make this. Do you want to go downstairs?
that's on you. I talk to Kazu about this every time I put him on camera. He has a mental block about.
Well, you got to keep up the fight. You can't
No,
back
what
down.
I need is I need a war on two fronts now. I need multiple
All right.
people.
If we're going to have a rule, we're
I
going to
need
enforce it.
multiple people telling him. All right. So Mark casts a suppression field there. I don't know too many instances where that's really going to hurt Kazu's deck all that much. It will make him a little bit harder to activate like his baubles and things like that. Here's a question.
Yes.
With a suppression field, does Kazu have to pay 2 mana in addition to paying 2 life to cycle?
It's an activated ability.
Should we look this up?
Yeah, go ahead and Google that one.
All right.
It's definitely an activated ability.
It
Why
is.
did that just happen?
He just cycled 2 Street Wraiths.
Do we need to stop them?
We might. We might need to do that. Why don't you give him a stomp? We might have to back that up a bit because he drew those cards off of that too. All right, I got people messaging me saying that he should not have been able to cycle.
Okay, hold on.
So,
Just step downstairs when you get.
all right. So he's naming Wild in the Cattle, but we got a ruling. Let me see here. I'm looking up the ruling myself just to be sure. Alright, let me double check here. Suppression field plus cycling. Yes, cycling is an activated ability, so it is affected by suppression field. Yep, so Ryan's down there talking to them now. Alright, so suppression field, little bit more damaging to Kazu than I initially thought, because that prevents him from being able to cycle those things too. So... okay. Yep, any activated abilities hit by suppression field, triggered abilities aren't. So you can do things, you can still do things like dredge or splice through a suppression field, but yep. So I don't know what Ryan's gonna do to help the players resolve this, because Kazu did cycle twice and drew 2 cards. So I'm not exactly sure what Ryan is gonna do to handle this.
You have that ruling, sir?
I do, and he does have to pay 2 mana every time he wants to cycle a Street Wraith.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mute the mic.
Okay.
Follow me.
Alright. Is this the mute here?
No, over here. Audio input 3. Just unblink it. The eye.
Alright. We're back. Just had to confer with Ryan real quick about what we were going to do to handle this. We are the only 2 judges here, and we're both up in the booth, unfortunately, so that means sometimes we do miss things, or players play a little too quickly and we're not quite able to catch it in time. But we're going to keep it moving on.
Sorry.
with the match.
Sorry, I actually did 2 judge calls while I was down there.
Oh, you did 2 judge calls.
Yep.
What was your other judge call?
Protection of red and trample. Core
they wanted to
core
know.
firewalker blocking a spark elemental.
Yeah, they'll still take damage, right?
The spark elemental will take 2 damage, and then the player controlling the core firewalker will get the 1 damage trampling over.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's update some life totals.
Yeah, so I went to saying that I didn't think Suppression Field was going to affect Kazu that much to realizing now, after we had that little bit of rules figuring out.
It's good against Street
that
Wraith.
It is pretty good, actually.
Yep. And it's good against Mishra's Bubble, too.
Yeah, well, I knew about Mishra's Bubble, but... Well, there's the Enduring Ideal.
So that Rune Halo says Wild Nikotl, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So he had 1, 2, 3, 4... Gets 4 off of that, and 5, and sacked his Bloom.
So he's going to get...
cast Enduring Ideal.
So he's going to get a Phyrexian on life.
Yep.
And then each upkeep he gets another enchantment.
Yeah, so for the rest of the game, or the rest of this game, Mark cannot cast a single spell. But at the beginning of every upkeep, he will copy Enduring Ideal 1 time, which Enduring Ideal lets you search your library for any enchantment and put it directly out of battle.
So basically, he can just, whatever creature Kazu casts, he can go get a Runed Halo or something else to negate it.
Yes.
Or get enough Ghostly Prisons out that he can't, he can't
now
attack.
that he's got the Unlife, his life total has enough of a buffer. I imagine that he's going to grab either Ghostly Prison or Dovescape next.
Right. He has an attack for 1.
Probably just start dumping Ghostly Prisons or maybe even Sphere of Safety.
Yeah.
He could even actually go right for Form of the Dragon. Because Form of the Dragon makes it so that creatures without flying can't attack you at all. At the end of each of your turns, your life total becomes 5. He's gonna get the Armance first, okay.
which is safe.
Yeah, right.
He's not under much of a clock right now, and this means that if Kazu has any disenchant effects.
Right now, and I know that Mark, unless he's changed this recently, runs only a single copy of Form of the Dragon.
Right.
He also runs as his other win-con Sunhome, or no, Assemble the Legion.
Yeah, that's the red-white one where you get a red-white 1/1 soldier token at every upkeep.
Well,
or you get it for X counters.
It like grows exponentially.
Yeah,
so every upkeep you put a counter on it, and then you get that many soldier tokens.
It's a cool deck.
Yeah, it is. It's sweet when you can pull it off. The thing is, sometimes it's a little slow for the meta to really put the lock together.
Yeah.
And we saw if you have to mold 4, it's really rough. But it seems like he's probably going to be able to get the lock here.
What deck isn't rough if you have to mold a 4?
Affinity, apparently. But
that was 5. All right, here.
So gonna hardcast Street Wraith.
Yep.
So I think he's gonna start. I think he's gonna grab a Sphere of Safety here, cause it's gonna do a little bit more than a Ghostly Prison.
Yeah.
It's gonna make it hard for him to attack. He's gonna have to pay 5 to attack. Oh no, he's just gonna go right for the Form of the Dragon. Gonna go right into it.
So tell me one more time what
All
that
right.
does.
So Form of the Dragon says creatures without flying can't attack you.
Okay.
At the beginning of each end step, your life total becomes 5.
Okay.
And at the beginning of your upkeep, you get to deal 5 damage to target creature player. So basically turns you into a dragon. Like it essentially turns you into a dragon. You can't be hit by creatures on the ground, so it's like you have flying.
Yeah.
Your life total becomes 5 at the end of every turn, so it's like your toughness resetting to 5 at the end of every turn.
That's a really interesting and confusing design.
And you deal 5 damage every turn, so it's like you get to attack somebody, you get to breathe fire on them for 5.
Alright, so he's going to play a shrine and kill his own shrine, end his turn, and mark us down to 5.
Yep. As an effect.
That is kind of dangerous, because, I mean, surely, Kazu has, lightning bolts, and he has haste creatures.
Yeah, but they can't attack.
Yeah, you're right. So it's just burn he's worried about. So maybe he gets Leyline on his next.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a little risky, honestly. I heard some rumors that Kazu's got some burn cards in this deck. Somebody even thought he was running Tribal Flames.
Oh yeah, this is definitely a Tribal Flames deck.
So that's risky because he could just blast Mark out right here.
Yeah,
with
I mean, I
Tribal
guess
Flames. Well, he's got Phyrexian Unlife, so
he does. And you're also your back's against the wall. You're down a game. You got to play to win.
Right. Enduring Ideal before Modern existed.
So there's a Tribal Flames.
Right.
For 5.
It's gonna take him to 0. But
Yep.
He's got Phyrexian Unlife.
Right. And
So
he'll go back up to 5 at the end of his next turn, right?
he will.
Yeah.
Yep. So he's gonna go to 0. Then I'll go back up to 5. Yep. Mark's saying you can't attack me.
Oh yeah. Might be.
I just got to read it one more time.
Might be.
'Cause it's so Modern became a thing in what, 2011? I think. Before that, we had Extended.
Yep.
We had Standard Extended, and the reason they made Modern was because Extended was getting really confusing because Extended went back like 6 or 7.
It was also just
sets,
nobody
and
played
it. Really, yeah. Well, I mean, they did if they had to play it at a Pro Tour or Grand Prix.
That's the only time.
And one of the really popular extended decks, kind of right before Modern became a thing,
So Mark's gonna get Leyline, and Kazu's just gonna pack it up.
was Enduring Ideal.
That's cool.
Enduring Ideal was popular and extended. And they typically ran 4 copies of Form of the Dragon, so it was like they just Form of the Dragon, Form of the Dragon, Form of the Dragon, like
That's kind of crazy.
blast you for 15.
Ugh.
Yeah.
All right, so Mark Ballard has managed to even it up here.
Yeah.
I like it.
Enduring Ideal decks they're sweet. They can get you if you're not ready.
It's
And
pretty
you know,
cool.
in
I think
Champ,
Mr.
like-
Williams is playing one of these decks as well, isn't he?
He typically does. He plays some version of it. I think it's a little different than Mark's. So, actually, Patrick messaged me and said he was watching the here, and we were talking about Mark's Enduring Idealists a little bit ourselves.
Ah,
But that's secret stuff.
okay.
Pat's actually my teammate for the
Who's your
tomorrow.
third?
Sean.
Sean. Okay.
Sean, yeah. So.
You guys played at the Team Constructed event we did, right?
Yes, we.
Or did you have Patrick on? It was you and.
Okay, so our original team and Pat saying, talk about Chan Cameron. Yes, Pat, I love you, buddy. I'm going to talk about Chan Cameron. Don't worry, I won't talk about any of our secret conversations.
That was your original lineup, but then there were some changes, right? Or something. I don't remember.
Yeah, so our original team for the grinder was what we have for tomorrow. It was going to be me, Pat, and Sean.
Mm-hmm.
Or Sean, Pat, and I. Sorry for my grammar there.
Yeah, that was bad.
But yeah, it was.
Get good.
Pat had something going on kind of last second. I forget exactly what it was, but he wasn't able to play. We learned about it like maybe
then you got Sheets, right?
Before, and we got Brandon Sheets to come in.
Then that birthed Between the Sheets with
yeah.
Kurt and Carol or something like that. I like it. I approve.
Yeah. That was that team name, I'll say for the record.
And then
was
that
totally
ideal
my idea.
legacy endures to this day. And then I think Sheets is going to be playing tomorrow as well, but with...
Yes, so
Right.
a little bit of drama. Actually, there was no drama, but he got picked up by
A competing team.
a competing team.
Oh.
The infamous Tyler the Turtle Claypool nabbed him.
That guy.
And Kazu. And yeah, once we learned that Sheets was not on the team, I think we kicked him off of our team chat.
Well, yeah, you don't want him stealing your secrets.
Yeah.
All right, so Kazu's going to start cycling 2 Street Wraiths, Swift Spear in for 1, and then Mark just has a Plains on Kazu's second turn, and he's going to attack for 1 again and play a Tarmogoyf. Kazu's down to 11, and Mark is down to 18. So I think Mark wants Ruined Halo for Tarmogoyf now. Actually, the Tarmogoyf's just a 2/3, but...
Oh, yeah, Pat said he went to Virginia Beach. That's what it was. Probably,
that
definitely
sounds
had
a
lot
better
more
decision.
fun than
Yeah.
had.
We love Magic. Team Magic sounds like a lot of fun. I haven't gotten a chance to try it myself, but going to the beach probably better.
Oh, he's still here? Pat, kick him off. What's he doing on here?
He's in your group chat. What the heck? You guys need a better intelligence officer.
Sharing trade secrets.
Yeah. All right, so we are on Kazu's turn 3. I've seen these Tribal Flames decks kill as early as turn 3, but
I mean, yeah, you got big ghosts, you got big Swift Spears. You can hit him for. Can you do
just
5?
Yeah, just go
with
probe,
with the
probe,
shock
probe.
lands?
Oh wait,
you can do 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah,
yeah,
you can hit 5.
yeah.
You can hit 5.
He's got all of them now except for planes.
Yeah.
If that last one would have been a Temple Garden, he would have had the 5.
Let's see if he
So here's a
catches
bolt.
the suppression fields this time with any cycling shenanigans.
Yeah, he's already gotten rid of 50% of his street wraiths.
Yeah.
He's down to 9 off the shock.
10.
And then attack, and Mark's down to 10. Kick it back.
So Mark really needs some ghostly prisons here for real.
Yeah, because without a 4th land drop, Kazu could only attack with the 1 creature.
Right.
I see another suppression field in his hand, and he's just going to have to cast that. It looks like he's missing a land drop, too.
Yeah, it's going to be rough. That's probably game. Yep, there's the Tribal Flames.
Yeah, and
Yep.
Yep, there it is. All right, so Kazu's going to take this 2 and 1.
Yeah.
Apparently, Paul is pointing out that Kazu searched a overgrown tomb off the Arid Mesa.
Oh, did they miss the suppression field again? They probably did.
Oh yeah, he missed the. Did he pay 2 for the fetch land?
I don't think so. Well, that's a tough thing about not having a judge hovering over them.
Yeah,
Every
well,
second of the match.
it looked like Mark had a really slow start there anyway.
Yeah.
And regardless of the fetch land, Kazu did have Goyf into Goyf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even see a ghostly prison or anything of the sort in Mark's hand either. I know I didn't see his whole hand.
It was an uphill battle for Mark to be sure. That Blood Moon definitely would have helped.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, he didn't. Yeah. You gotta catch your triggers.
All right, so that is it for this round. We might be grabbing another match, but I'm not sure. We've had some fast games this evening, so we might be heading into round 4 before you know it. One more time, I'm Ryan.
And I am Kurt.
And we will be our
What's up, guys? This is Kurt from Four Horsemen Comics and Gamings. I'm doing the intro because Ryan has buffalo chicken pizza all over his mouth.
It's hot!
But he is here with me, and we are in for round 4 with our fan favorite,
Curtis Taylor.
Oh, wait a minute. Claypool. We love Curtis, too. I mean, Curtis is a good, close personal friend of mine. We have the same name. So we're buds because of that, because you have to be friends with people with the same name as you, right? That's like how it works.
So we actually had a Ryan club in high school.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But there was one guy that was not in the Ryan club because he was a jerk.
Was he like a Brian?
No, he was a Ryan.
No,
he was a Ryan.
Like no Brian's allowed in the
No,
Ryan club?
we actually had a couple Bryans in too.
Oh,
but
man.
this guy was a full-fledged Ryan, but he was just a jerk.
All right, so Tyler opening up on Double Cavern, turn 1, Curse Catcher, into turn 2, Lord Master of the Pearl Trident.
And Curtis should be at 16 because he did cycle.
Yeah.
Unless he has him stopped here before damage.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he's doing there with that.
They might just be updating the life totals. It looks like he may be fetching here to bolt the... Nope, he's going down to 15.
Yeah, you know, he's Death Shadow. He's probably not too concerned with taking a hit or two from Merfolk. Just helps his life total get down there.
He might just be...
Interesting that he would fetch a Watery Grave, knowing that all the Merfolk have Island Walk. Maybe he's just
Well,
assuming...
you're playing Grixis.
I mean, yeah, I know. But maybe...
You're going to have an island in play at some point.
Yeah. I hear you.
Alright, so Curtis fetched that Watery Grave to cast a Fatal Push, but he used that to target the Master of the Pearl Trident, forcing Tyler to sack the Curse Catcher to counter it.
Okay, yeah, I like that. Play.
Yeah.
You gotta get Curse Catcher out of the way.
It saved him 2 damage, too.
Yeah.
So here's Thought Scour, targeting Curtis. He mills over a Death Shadow and a Bloodstained Mire.
Alright, there's a Polluted Delta. Gonna crack it, go probably to 10?
Does it usually play any basics?
They usually have like they
swamp
usually
and a
have like a
forest
basic or two. Well, he's on Grixis, so he's not gonna have any forests, but I think it might play like 2 swamps and like that's it for basics.
So here's Tasigur, the banana hammock man himself.
Yeah, nothing like getting a turn 2 Tasigur, I guess.
Oh yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, he's. I would say he's pretty decent.
I keep thinking that foil Master of the Pearl Trident is a Minamo. Look at it sideways. It kind of looks like Minamo.
The land?
Yeah, it was cool. Water's Edge.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see it.
Here's a swing for 3.
I don't doubt that you see it.
Taking Curtis down to 9. I see lots of things.
Yeah, we know.
I'm out there in the world. Alright, so Tyler has a lot of gas despite missing a single land drop.
Yeah.
But Curse Catcher into 2 Lords is about as good as it gets. Ideally, he would like to have another land in there and play something else, but...
Yeah, I mean, because right now he can't really cast anything other than Merfolk, which I know Merfolk doesn't cast too many things.
He can cast a Vial. So
he could cast a Vial.
He really... The only things he can't cast right now are Akira and then, like, Spreading Seas.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if he has, like, main deck Spell Pierces or Vapor Snags or something.
Yeah. Which, I mean, Spreading Seas and Seas Claim, they can be pretty good in this matchup.
Yeah.
All the Death Shadow decks are super, super greedy with their mana bases.
All right, here's Tasigur swinging in for 4, taking Tyler down to 16.
All right. Yeah. Can't block the Merfolk, so you might as well get in with an attack.
Oh, yeah.
Might be sitting on some more Fatal Pushes. I don't know.
He's also a Lightning Bolt deck, so, you know, getting in there. Ooh.
Yeah.
Having the Tasigur bounce, that's rough beats.
That hurts.
I wonder if he has a Mana Leak here or no, well, there's the caverns, so yeah, it's rough.
There was I went out to a store in Washington to play with.
Good old gaming dungeon.
Yeah, went to the gaming dungeon to play with the guys down there yesterday. I went
Mhm.
with Curtis and he used this deck, and he played a game against Mono Bluetron,
I like that deck.
and he got Tasigur. He cast Tasigur, and then Tasigur got repealed.
Ugh.
Then he loaded up his graveyard again over the next like 2 turns, tried to cast Tasigur again, and it got remanded.
Ugh.
And then he went to cast Tasigur a 3rd time, and it got repealed again.
Oh.
And I was like, this sounds...
Oh, and he drew cards off of all 3 of those
Yeah,
spells.
yep. So,
That's crazy.
yeah. I think they were just playing casually in between rounds, though. So, I don't think it wasn't very high stakes. But,
Still.
that can happen. Tasigur, I mean, having a 4/5 on turn 2 pretty consistently is ridiculously strong.
Yeah, just having those Delve guys bounce, though, is
Yeah.
so hard. That's why Tasker is almost unplayable in Legacy because he gets bounced by Karakas.
Yeah.
And that can just happen every turn.
Right, and you can't, like when you have to delve 5 cards out of your graveyard every time you want to cast him, those cards don't come back, so you have to try to build up some resources again to get him back out there.
Right.
That looks like is that the Amonkhet Island?
I believe it is.
Yeah.
It might be the Hour of Devastation. No, I think it's Amonkhet. Actually, I'm pretty sure it's the Amonkhet. It's just the foil makes it dark and hard to see. Hear somebody fiddling with the gate downstairs.
I'm very excited for the upcoming unset.
Yep.
What's that one called?
It's not unbridled, but it's a synonym of unbridled, I believe.
It's because we had unglued and then we had unhinged. What did they say it was gonna be called? We gonna look it up.
Yeah, so Snapcaster targeting Fatal Push, I'm assuming.
Yeah. So when the new unset,
it is
Unstable.
Yay! All right, so here's Snapcaster Fatal Pushing the Master of the Pearl Trident.
Yeah.
Curtis needs to answer both of these creatures or find another blocker.
yeah,
And he
No.
doesn't, so Tyler's quickly going to take game number 1. Up a game over Curtis Taylor.
Yeah. Rough night for Grixis Shadow around here, I guess.
I mean, everybody needs to push these shadow decks around and say, we're not going to take it.
Yeah, I agree.
We want to see, I don't think it needs banned or anything, but people need to, show it's who's boss.
Louis Scott Vargas thinks that Death Shadow should be banned.
Yeah, I saw he
Just a card.
posted a video
Yeah.
on Channel Fireball saying that. I didn't watch it, but
He had a convincing argument. I mean, he says he doesn't think the meta is in a bad spot. He doesn't think Modern's in a bad spot. He thinks that it is in a good spot. But he thinks that with, there was some speculation that the new Claim to Fame card that just came out in Hour of Devastation was a really good tool for the Death Shadow decks.
right.
Things like that. He basically made the argument that it would be a quality of life ban for Modern to just ban the card outright instead of trying to do soft bans around it.
I think it might be a yes, but if we're making quality of life bans, then Blood Moon and Urza's Tower, and there's lots of
Right. I mean, there's always the argument for it, but I think I think Death Shadow is a little more on everybody's radar just because of how much of the meta is, how much space it's taking up, especially at the high level events like the Star City Games Opens and the Invitationals,
Well,
and
just
the Grand Prix and everything like that.
it seems like every time I turn around, there's some deck that's dominant in Modern, and people are calling for a banning. And it's just like okay, if we just ban this one, we'll be okay. But it just never stops. It's just like a waterfall of card bannings.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't need an emergency ban or anything like that. I don't think. I wasn't around Wasn't really paying attention. I mean, I knew, like, I'd heard of the Splinter Twin band, but I didn't really know.
That came out left field.
Yeah, I didn't really know that. You know, I didn't really know the decks that well, so I didn't know Splinter Twin was like a big thing.
So it was. It was definitely the best deck in the format, but everybody was just under the impression that it was just okay because it kind of set up the whole turn 4 rule, and also they had just reprinted Splinter Twin itself in Modern Masters that year.
Oh yeah.
So it was just a little odd. I understand they did it to shake up the format before the Pro Tour, but yeah, Modern's always had this really weird relationship with the ban list, where people are constantly calling for cards to be banned and constantly complaining about cards that are banned. Wizards is just kind of damned if they do and damned if they don't.
Yeah.
I feel like Modern has a unique relationship with the ban list because that doesn't really, well, it's excluding the last couple months, that doesn't really happen in Standard, and it doesn't happen a lot in Legacy or Vintage.
Yeah.
Alright, so it looks like our players are shuffled up and they are drawing their opening hands. Curtis just taking a couple last hand over hand shuffles to make sure his puppy is nice and randomized.
Yep. Gotta shuffle well.
Shuffle well. Isn't that what Yoda said to Luke when he left Dagobah to go to Bespin to rescue Han and Leia? Didn't he say shuffle well?
I think so. Shuffle well.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Or well shuffle.
Yeah. Well, shuffle off. Alright, so Curtis Taylor is on the play and he's going to shock himself down to 18 by playing a Blood Crypt.
Turn with Thussies. Oh,
Inquisition. You fool. Ooh, Relic. Okay, so Tyler reveals Island Master, Relic, Remand, Silvergirl Adept. This is a pretty... If he has a second island on the top, this is a pretty gassed up hand.
Yeah.
I feel like you have to take one of the lords.
I go for a lord.
And if not a lord, the Silvergill Adept. Because the Silvergill Adept... Oh, no, because if he gets to cast the Silvergill Adept, he already has a second lane. Yeah, I'd probably take a Master.
Gotta take a lord. Yeah,
and the signed one. Get that out of here.
Yeah.
Alright, he's going to pick him up. Curtis Taylor does not need to write them down because he has the memory of a gad.
Didn't draw land.
Alright, so here's... But Curtis doesn't need to know that. Here's a Relic.
Yep. There's a Relic.
And he's going to go ahead and activate it, so he doesn't have to remember to do it on Curtis's end step.
Gonna make it a little harder for Curtis to cast a Tasigur or a Gurmag.
A whole lot harder. Does this deck play Gurmag Angler?
Yeah.
Cool.
They typically do.
Yeah. Alright, so here's Thoughtseize.
Oh, yeah. He says...
Oh, wait, you didn't draw land? Let me take that other lord.
Yeah. I think at that point you gotta...
Remanding a Death Shadow doesn't seem that great.
No, so I've been testing out a Storm deck, and one of the only people who I play test with frequently is Curtis, and Death Shadow feels bad.
Yeah.
Unless you can board in, like,
So...
Well, he's just gonna crack it.
Tyler...
He needs to draw the card because he needs a land.
Hey, Tyler, you should... so I think it might have been better for you to... If you were going to go ahead and blow it, you should have just done it on your turn. That way, if you drew a land, you could have played it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless you can board in, unless you're running Leyline of Sanctity in the sideboard for Storm.
Raw.
And you get it in. Or you get a cheeky, like, turn 1 Blood Moon against it.
Right.
Which has not happened for me yet.
Just like Ritual into a Blood Moon?
Yeah, because some lists, like the list I'm running, has, like, a 1 of Spirit Guide.
Okay.
So, like, the dream would be, like, turn
Spirit
1,
Guide into
Spirit
Ritual
Guide
and a
into
Blood
Ritual,
Moon.
Yeah. Almost got a turn 2 Blood Moon when I was playing against another Grixis Shadow deck yesterday at the Gaming Dungeon, but in true Grixis Shadow fashion, I got Inquisitioned on turn 1. And it's brutal, man. The discard... one of the worst things about playing against Death Shadow decks is the disruption. They just shred your hand, they fatal push everything you try to play, or they terminate it, and then they just play some ridiculously big creature that only costs 1 mana.
So Tyler found his second land in Cavern, names Merfolk, casts Silvergill Adept, reveals Silvergill Adept, and has now kicked it back to Curtis.
Yep. It's going to be March of the Silvergills, I think, here.
Oh, my. Curtis is looking for a removal spell or a threat or both. Like to see
Grabbing his basics.
like Fatal Push into not quite Deathrite or not Deathrite. Death Shadow.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd love to have a Deathrite Shaman here.
Come back from Legacy here.
Liliana seems
there
good.
You go. Yeah.
Liliana seems good.
Lot,
That'll kill the first Silver God and second.
Weakness on a stick.
Oh yeah. That's mighty strong. Here comes the second Cavern of Souls. I think Tyler will most likely be naming Beast off that one.
Beast. Alright, and he's going to go ahead and just cast, I believe that's Marrow Reejery. Is that the Reejery?
That is the promo, FNM promo Reejery, yes.
Okay, yeah, yep. That's +1/+1 to your Merfolk.
Yep.
And
Whenever you cast a Merfolk, you may tap or untap target permanent.
Right, yep.
It's mighty good with Harbinger of the Tides.
Yeah, it is. Not super relevant against Liliana, but...
Well, you know what I would do? On my next turn, if I got to cast a Merfolk, I would tap that Liliana.
Yeah, or you could tap a land.
I'm going to tap that Liliana.
Send the message.
Yes, exactly.
It's like when you attack with Birds of Paradise on turn 2.
Done that before. Done that before.
Alright. Curtis looks like he's gonna cast Tazgir. There you go.
Yeah, he's got to do it while Tyler's tapped out because he has that remand in his hand.
Yep. Here comes a Lord of Atlantis, the original Merfolk Lord, all the way back from Alpha.
Alpha.
And he untapped one of his Cavernous Souls.
Yep, to
Whoa.
go and cast the Silvergill Adept.
And untap something. Untap his island.
So, apparently, Brandon Sheets has commented in the chat that if Tyler loses, then Patrick Williams gets to triple the amount of flicks that he owes him.
Oh, I know exactly what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Tyler, last I checked, they were like into the 600s.
There were a lot of flicks.
So that's a lot.
Likely more flicks than Patrick will ever actually deliver. So he just has infinite flicks.
Is it physically possible for one man to deliver so many flicks?
I don't know, but Tyler really needs to win this match. Need to update the round.
Is that on the Facebook chat?
That is on the Facebook chat.
Yes.
Yes.
I closed my Facebook chat like a bug.
I've got it up here. I got it. Updating life totals.
Liliana not super good anymore thanks to the lords.
Yeah. Still will generate some value, lower some power.
Yeah.
Do some stuff okay, so it's going to turn that
What? Oh. What? Wait.
I don't speak sign language, Curtis. You gotta tell me.
I think he didn't want to do that.
Okay.
Looks like he.
So here's Watergrave down to 9.
Looks like he took the loyalty back. He said, "Wait a minute. I don't want to do that."
That's fair. Okay. If Tyler's cool with that, that's fine. All right. So here's push on the Lord, and now activate Liliana. Yeah, that seems better.
Well, doesn't the Reejery still pump?
Oh yeah. I forgot about the Reejery.
So
here's push the
snap,
Reejery.
push.
Now activate.
Ooh.
All right. That was a good sequence of plays. And an attack for 4.
He could have plussed the Lily first too, didn't? It would have died.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
I think he just wanted to think it out maybe a little bit.
Well, I mean, sometimes it depends on like what kind of spell. So yeah. But in that case, it would have worked regardless of the sequencing.
Yeah. Well, with a board free of Merfolk and a never-ending army of zombies could be pretty sweet.
Zambi.
I've never seen anybody ult a Liliana in a Grixis Shadow deck.
Me neither.
So...
Alright.
Would he do it? I don't know. What was it?
I'd
7
do it.
For the
ult? I'd do it.
7
That's
for the
sweet.
Ult? Why not?
Why not?
Forget Death Shadow. We're going back to Tribal Merfolk v Zombies.
Ooh. I think Merfolk deck needs to recruit some of the stars of The Walking Dead to fight that fight.
Oh. Sad news coming out of that. The Walking Dead recently. Did you hear?
Mm-mm.
That a stuntman die.
While filming?
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
Just. I think the accident happened on Wednesday.
That's terrible.
Yeah, he was fighting a character. They were rehearsing a scene where the stuntman was fighting somebody who is one of the bad guys, henchman. I've stopped following the show, so I'm not familiar with
one
the
of Negan's henchmen.
Yeah, and he's supposed to fall off a balcony.
Yeah.
And he was, they had one of those big mats.
Yeah.
And it was about a 25-foot drop.
Ooh.
And apparently he misstepped or stumbled when he was going back, and he missed the mat by mere inches, but hit his head on the concrete.
That's awful.
Yeah.
So
movie industry can be a little dangerous at
very.
times.
So Curtis is going to attack with Snapcaster and Tasker.
Yeah.
Tyler's going to activate Vial, put in the phantasmal image, and target and copy the Tasker, so that they can bounce off each other, or he can eat the Snapcaster mage.
Yeah, but there you go.
Here's a fatal push to take care of that nonsense.
He could have also just ticked Liliana up and also killed it.
No,
right?
because that was in combat. He vialed it in combat.
Oh, he vialed it in during combat. Okay,
Yes,
I got you.
But yeah, normally yes, that would have, because it targets. And all right, so he takes the 6 and goes down to 4.
So I think Curtis has this one wrapped up, but I would love to see that Liliana just
Zombies,
kick it off.
zombies.
Just to kick it off, be like alt, and also you're dead.
Also, you dead. We want the zombies. We will rage.
Come on, do it. Yes!
Yes!
Zombies!
And he doesn't even have zombie tokens.
Why would you? Like,
Why would you're playing a card that creates zombie tokens? You got to come prepared.
I think it's a sideboard card. I think, and I don't think they ever expect to actually ult.
If I have a deck and with a card in it that creates tokens, I always have the tokens.
I'm the same way, man. I'm a token fiend. I love decks that play a lot of tokens, but
yeah. All right, so I guess that's the emblem.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got 2 zombies. There's a
Mutavault.
And another Tassiger.
Attempt number 2.
Not super relevant against the incoming
horde
of zombies. So he's gonna get 4 zombies on his next upkeep. I think he's just gonna kill the Tassiger again. Maybe terminate.
We'll find out.
Oh, no,
snap push. How many fatal pushes does Curtis Taylor go?
Remand the push?
But he can just well, no, because it get exiled. It get exiled. Yeah. We might be having an incoming judge call. I'm not sure. I don't know if Curtis has come up with that interaction before.
Is that?
Is that a judge?
I don't know.
I'm gonna step downstairs. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no matter what, the fatal push will get exiled.
Yeah, and Tyler still gets to draw.
Right. Even if it gets countered here. So SOS. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're coming. Yeah. So when you cast a card with flashback, it gets exiled. No matter where it would go. So no matter what, that's gonna go to exile. Tyler's gonna get to draw a card. Interesting to note too. You can cast a remand like on a spell that can't be countered, and you'll still get to draw a card off of it. Because the draw part of the remand happens independent of whether or not the spell gets countered. And there's a Death Shadow and a big attack, and Tyler's. Yeah, it looks like he said, "I'm good. You got this one," and they're gonna go to game 3. All right.
Yes, Mr. Taylor had never came across that interaction before.
Yep. I was also just informing everybody that if you cast a remand targeting a spell that cannot be countered, it will not counter that spell, but you will
get to
still
cycle.
Get to draw a card. Yeah.
Back when Twin versus Jund and Obzon was a thing, I saw Mini and Abrupt Decay remanded.
Oh yeah, why not? Get that card draw.
Yep. So it's like, all right, Abrupt Decay, target your Deceiver Exile. Well, can I draw a card? Yeah, you can draw a card. I remember myself and one Alan Shank battling that matchup quite a bit.
Mm.
All right, so we're going to game 3.
Yep.
This will be the final game of the evening, unless they somehow manage to kill each other simultaneously, in which case we'll go to game 4.
Yep, which I'm not sure how either of those decks would accomplish that.
I don't know.
No.
That Phoenix from Cons of Tarkir. Does Curtis run that?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
There's like a Morph Phoenix that does 2 damage to both players on the Upkeeper, or when it flips or something.
I should try to design a deck that only
Okay, Google.
kills people at the same time.
What's that there Phoenix from the Cons of Tarkir that kills people at the same time?
I'll be amazed if this actually deciphers anything.
No, it came up with Demolition Man, the movie.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Makes perfect sense. Great movie, Demolition Man, by the way.
Yeah. Phoenix, Cons of Tarkir.
That is one of Sylvester Stallone's classics.
Yes. Ash Cloud Phoenix. 2 red, 4/1 flying. When Ash Cloud Phoenix dies, return it to the battlefield face down. It's morph for 4 2 red. When it's turned face up, it deals 2 damage to each player.
Why would anybody use that card?
I've saw it in like red decks back when it was
In
standard.
standard. Well, yeah, in
yeah.
standard, but
So I actually had people go to go to game 4
Hilarious.
because of this card.
Yep. So Tyler gonna be on the play here. Needs better than a 1-lander, and so far he looks like he drew a 1-lander. So he's gonna mulligan that right away. Learn from his past transgressions. You don't want to keep a 1-lander and get stuck. That's the
Did he have a
worst
vial
feeling.
in that hand?
Nope.
Okay.
It looked like he, honestly, to me, it looked like he drew like 6 lords at land.
Okay.
But I couldn't really tell. So,
The anticipation is growing.
oh yeah.
I can't stand not knowing. Will he keep or will he mull? I can't think of a rhyme for mull.
I don't know.
Me neither.
Can't help either.
Yeah.
I'm not a rap star. I don't spit fire. I'm not good.
I understand.
Can't come up with rhymes. There's some Aether Vials. Looks like he got a land. I think he got 1 land again, but he had... Oh, no. He's going to mull to 5. Oh, boy. This is going to hurt. Nothing feels worse than having to mulligan to 5 cards against a deck that has 8 1-mana discards.
That is pretty rough, I gotta say.
And you know, it seems to be the case that Grixis Shadow will always have at least 1 in their opening game.
I think it's a rule of the
Yeah.
universe. Or it seems to be that way from me covering matches with the deck.
I almost would even hazard to say that it's almost a given that they'll have 2, but sometimes they don't. Very rarely.
And I get to go downstairs and tell Tyler that his teammates have decided to bail on him for the event tomorrow.
Oh boy.
Yeah, he's going to be excited about that. I'm just kidding, but I'm going to tell him. Anyway. All right, so Tyler's on the play. He has Island into Pithing Needle.
All right. Is he gonna name Liliana?
I would assume it's naming Liliana. The only other thing he could name would be Tassiger. I can't think of anything.
That seems like a waste of a Pithing.
Yeah,
Needle.
no, it does, but I'm just struggling to think of any activated abilities in the deck other than fetch lands, I guess.
Polluted Delta.
So that piece of paper that Tyler was holding up said SOS. Tyler, I told him I can't read it. All right, I'll be right back.
Okay, yeah. You gotta hold it up. Alright, Ryan's gonna go scold Tyler. Tell him to get that paper held high so we can actually read it. And Curtis is gonna open up on a turn 1. Inquisition again. Reveals Master of the Pearl Trident, Island, and Minamo.
Yeah, the Pithing Needle's on Tasker.
Okay.
No, it's on Liliana.
Okay. Alright, and Curtis only going to fetch down to 19. Grabbing his basics. I guess he's wary of of the spreading seas, but we haven't seen a single one.
I guess that way, if they get spreading seas, he gets to draw his shock lands.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And fetch them with future
Yeah.
fetch lands. So what? He discarded the Master? Or no, that's the rest of his hand.
Yeah, yeah.
What did he discard off the Inquisition?
I honestly don't. It didn't look. I don't know. Didn't look like he got it. Oh no, he couldn't do anything because he only had
the Master?
He only had the Master and 2 lands.
Alright, gotcha.
And then he drew the Lord of Atlantis.
Alright, so here's Minamo, the School of Water's Edge.
Yep.
To cast Relic. Which Tyler will
do
attack for 2.
Attack for 2.
Down to 17.
Yep.
Or
down to 15.
15 because the Thoughtseize.
Yep.
Yes.
Well, you're gonna crack the fetch right off the bat.
Yep.
Guess he doesn't want him to delve out a Tasigur or a Gurmag.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that's a concern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he needs something. You know, he's drawn off the top now. He's got to get through his deck, and he risks having whatever he draws ripped out of his hand.
Yeah, and if he does it now, and he draws a Curse Catcher or an Aether Vial, he can cast it.
Right.
I like it. Curtis is
looking for something.
He needs Steam Vents.
Right,
Yeah, that's
Steam
what I
Vents,
thought.
there
He's
you
going to
go.
shock himself, go down to 12. I'll say, I assumed he was looking for Steam Vents, but I guess he was just thinking about it. He may have some double black spells that he may need to cast.
Oh, just gonna Thought Scar himself.
Yep.
Hey, he says, yeah, no problem. I'll refill my graveyard. That's cool. Mills,
He's already up
Death
to 4
Shadow,
cards.
and Serum Visions.
Serum.
Yep.
I'm guessing Tyler did not draw a 1 mana spell.
Yeah, I'm guessing. No idea
Unless
what he
it's
got.
a Spell Pierce
Mm-mm-mm.
or Vapor Snag.
Alright, there's a Scalding Tarn.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, fine. Is there somebody down there? No, I was just giving you the. No, but is there somebody behind the register?
Okay.
Since it is okay.
Yeah, no,
Kurt's gonna crack the
somebody's there.
Scalding Tarn. He missed taking his life for his fetch there, so he should be down to 11. You might have to go tell them that he missed
A fetch
life.
land. I think I've done like the last 3 trips
Okay,
down the stair,
fair.
Curtis and I.
Alright, I'll go tell him.
Alright, let's see what he's casting first. Never mind, I'll yell it at you. Oh, what's it called? God's command!
Thanks, I'm not standing right here still.
Alright. Looks like he's going to kill the Lord of Atlantis and make Tyler discard his last card, which... It was a Curse Catcher!
Oh boy.
He didn't cast it! That's interesting. Alright, Curtis and I is downstairs. Confirming those laugh totals. We will have him back up here in the booth momentarily. Yep, and we've got Curtis down to 11. Looks like we're caught up. Still have about 15 minutes left on the clock. These players do go to time. We'll probably give them a couple minute extensions because we have had to speak with them a couple times. And he's back.
Lots of running down there today.
I know, I'm breaking a sweat. Speaking of zombie fish,
Oh yeah, there you go.
which clan? I'm gonna cover up the watermark so you know.
Oh, easy, Sultai.
Sultai, you got that so quickly.
Oh yeah, I loved Cons, man. Cons was sweet. I liked it for the flavor because it reminded me a lot of Shards.
Yeah, the Unspoken Realms podcast has been doing the Khans of Tarkir stories in between episodes when there's not an Hour of Devastation story to do. So I've been
Nice.
I've been catching up on a little Khans of Tarkir lore.
Yeah, actually, Dragons lost me a little bit though. I was hoping they would stick with the 3-color theme the whole way through.
Yeah.
But they, then they went to
Dose.
friendly 2 colors, and I was like, that's been done 1,000 times. And
About, yeah.
It's not cool.
I really like multicolored blocks and 2-colored blocks too, but especially 3. I think another allied colored, like another shard colored block in the next couple years would be something that people
I would
welcome.
love if they went back to Alara for like a...
Well, get this. What if they went back to Ravnica, but now there's 5 guilds? Like every guild has allied itself with another guild.
I don't know, man.
No, okay, just to get this. So like the Selesnya allied themselves with a Simic, and now they're like the band colors. I think that's awesome.
See, I know that everybody loves Ravnica. It's like everybody's favorite or whatever. But
it's not mine. I just think that idea would be cool.
I think they need to leave Ravnica alone. I was a little.
Oh no,
tired of
we're going back.
I know because Wizards loves it too. But no, I'd love for them to go back to. I know they've revisited Alara with supplemental sets like commander sets and stuff like that. But it'd be cool.
Didn't it get destroyed or something?
No, I mean it got left with the Maelstrom still going on and all 5 shards had smashed back together and people were trying to live their lives like in a new way with this new way. And they've sort of through the commander sets they've hinted that people have things have stabilized relatively well, but it'd be cool to go back to that plane. We can see what's happened. Maybe the Maelstrom is over by the time we go back and things are just kind of
Gurmag Angler.
Yeah. Why not?
Why not?
Big 5/5.
Did you say?
I sure did. Yeah, I liked the clans, the Khans clans, and then when they went to the 2-color thing, I was like, nah, kind of lost.
There's some cool cards in Dragons of Tarkir.
Yeah,
like Kolgan's Command and Anafenza.
I was a really big fan of Esper Dragon Control in Standard for a hot minute until people realized that Deathmist Raptor poops on that deck super hard.
Deathmist Raptor, Swiggly Swoo, he's pretty cool.
Yeah. Too bad he didn't survive the test of the Standard rotation, and now we don't see him anywhere anymore.
Yeah. As in, he's not legal.
Yeah. Well, some cards, they make a big enough impact, and they hang around in Modern, or they go into Legacy or something like that.
Yep. I haven't seen Deathmist Raptor since he rotated out of Standard, yeah.
Yeah, so, super impactful card when he was in Standard.
Oh, no, yeah, he's real strong.
But
I think he needs it to make his way into my cube. I've thought about putting him in my cube 100 times, but I just haven't because I don't have any morph cards in my cube, and I just don't.
You'd have to put a bunch.
Or he could just be the one, but
I mean, it'd be so obvious though, because then if anybody casts a morph, they're gonna know immediately what it is.
Den Protector is probably something that could be in my cube too.
I love morph. I used to have a morph deck back during
the original
Onslaught.
Yeah, in for 3. All right, we've got tied at 6s in the last game of the night. Here's Snapcaster Mage Terminate, targeting the Master of the Pearl Trident. So Curtis gets to untap and
big swing.
Big swing. So Tyler's gonna have to block the Death
Tyler
Shadow.
might be sitting on like a Vapor Snag too.
Hey, he needs he's dead.
Does he have a hand?
If he does, I think he's dead if he doesn't have any cards.
I don't think he
because
has
he can only make 1 block, and he has to block the Death Shadow, and the other 2 kill him. He may have his hand set off to the side or something.
Yeah.
Or he might just be dead. I think he's... Okay. Good match. All right, and Curtis Taylor takes this one 2-1 in that, as we say, is that in the business. But before we leave you guys this evening, we're going to take a couple minutes to talk about an upcoming event that we have here that we're all super excited about. I'm just bringing up the image. We are proud to announce that we're going to have the Four Horsemen Eternal Festival. That is a 3-day event spanning from August 25th to the 27th. So last weekend in August, after West Virginia University students come back, right a little bit before the release of Ixalan. So Magic, typically in the fall, Magic play picks up a lot. We're going to have 3 days worth of events. On the first day, Friday, we're going to have our regular Friday Night Magic Modern event at 6:30, but also at 6, we're going to have Friday Night Proxy Legacy. So that will be a Friday Night Magic-like event where you get to play Legacy with proxies. And then we have our big main event on Saturday. It is the Four Horsemen Team Eternal Championships. Now, you haven't heard of Team Eternal before because I made it up.
Yeah.
It is Modern, Legacy, and Vintage, and we will allow proxies for the Legacy and Vintage portions of that. We'll also have an Eternal Masters Draft side event. And then on Sunday, we have the Four Horsemen Proxy Legacy Championships, and we'll have a no ban list Modern side event for that.
Sounds positively degenerate.
Yes, we have. So if you'd like more details on this, go to facebook.com/4horsemencomics. Click on events. We have an event page up that still has most of the information. We're still updating some of the details, but you can follow it there. We're hoping to be streaming all of these events. We'll definitely stream F&M, and I'd like to stream the team event and the Legacy Championships on Sunday. We're still working out those details. You can follow us on social media and get all of the details as they're released. I'm super excited.
Yeah. It sounds like it's going to be pretty festive.
Mm-hmm.
And I've already heard, the Peanut Gallery seems pretty excited as well.
Well, good, because we run all of these things for the Peanut Gallery. Without them, there would be no events.
That's true.
All right, well, we're going to go ahead and close off. Thanks, guys, for watching. Make sure you check us out. We are broadcasting from Four Horsemen Comics and Gaming in Morgantown, West Virginia. We have 2 other great locations in Waynesburg, Pennsylvania, and in Bridgeport, West Virginia, in the Meadowbrook Mall. One more time, I'm Ryan.
And I am Kurt.
And don't forget our Team Unified Modern event tomorrow at noon. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.